Welcome to Charisma Saves.
So you just do that because you have sleeves.
They made me wear this.
If we have to dress up, so do you.
I voted
didn't
for
know
the
that
nose.
was-
You didn't wear the bald cap. So
The
I
bald
don't
cap would make me
think
too warm. I would be much too warm.
Just actually shave your head then.
Commit to the bit.
Shave my head.
No.
Your anti-head shave.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be so smooth though.
Okay, he was
Ooh,
shaving
like
his
lotion.
head before we got together, and then I convinced him to grow his hair out, so...
It's a better look, but it's not more comfortable. So, it's a double-edged sword. Anyway, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the thing. I hope you're having a wonderful night. We are having a wonderful night, and we'll continue to do so as everybody is in their stuff, which means we're very close to leveling up. So hopefully we accomplish that at some point, but we'll see what happens. Do we want to talk about anything before we just jump in and just start playing? I'm going to avoid ads. We don't need an ad. We don't need anything. Can we talk about this for a second?
What are you talking about? You're gonna have to be more specific.
Great job.
You know, I gotta think. No, Baja did this. It's still a work in progress, which is why it's kind of like Frey-y,
Same.
but still. Thank you, Baja.
There we go.
Not a furry still.
Still not a furry.
Still not
Yeah.
a furry.
Did Baja make anybody else's costumes?
Unless you made the clothes for Amazon, no.
That was children somewhere. Somewhere bad.
What?
Oh, I just look like I'm staring when I'm looking at people. I have to look very intently.
It's really off-putting, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought you were, like, fucking judging me, and I'm like, what? We've all bought from Amazon, okay? Like, come on.
Okay, well, some of us didn't, okay? Some of us are Etsy shoppers here.
But we all have purchased from Amazon. Like, not all. Sure.
Well,
We're all being hosted on Amazon servers right now.
True.
So.
Like, yeah.
no one's being hosted more, though, than you guys in the city of Host, or the town of it. Last we told our tale. The group had spent time in the city of Ebon Falls buying necessary items, provisions, and unnecessarily perusing the random trinkets of the local street vendors. News of the Asari royal family's impending visit to the city seemed to have sparked buzz in the town, as they're to arrive near the end of the month to attend the reveal of Kane Industries' new product, rumored to be a serum of some kind. Within the walls of 84 Bay Ridge, your warehouse, the four of you stood around the strange glass chest containing the black ooze within, limply aggressing at the sides as you carefully tinkered with the lock, having made a tough decision. Isabella and Mistress stood waiting, ready to consume the ichor, attempting to absorb its power. Opening the container, it sprung out, trying desperately to escape the maw of Mistress, your symbiotic patron. But it failed with the group's cooperation, and Mistress's belly was filled with the animalistic fervor as the oozing form was subsumed by Isabella's strange passenger, granting her new powers. Understanding that this consumption is a betrayal of the deal you made with Reverend Gill to return the creature, you began to plot your deception. In a flash of inspiration, Soren suggested filling the box with the bottled shadow that you found in the darkness below the city. As the lie settled to the bottom of the box, so too did you settle on the lies you were to tell the good Reverend. The morning of the next day, the group traveled by cart to the town of Host, preparing themselves for the return of the box to Gil, leaving Soren and Isabella at the Gem Hotel in town. Isaac and Ink knocked upon the door of the Reverend's home. Heavy-heeled boots walked across the wooden floors within. Both of you, eyes trained on the handle, try to push down the anxiety and nerves of the moment. And then, Isaac. You're standing with papers in your arms, documents. You tap your finger on the top of the leather folder. Excitement, vindication, redemption. The elevator tones a small bell and the doors separate. The blue slit of sanitized light, birthing you into this new frontier. You are a new man, confident like you practiced. You adjust your sleeves, your collar, your gloves. Forward, 25 steps you count. Only slight pain, but you suspect overuse. You ran today. You really ran. You haven't run since... Baines, what is this? Your eyes barely focus as you hand the leather in his direction. He reads quietly as you sit. You trace the bead of condensation on the decanter of ice water perched upon the desk. They travel by following the trails of their predecessors, and they collide, combine, and dissolve into each other. This continues all over the surface. A war of water droplets, cyclical annihilation. You don't know how much time passes before he says, "Do you realize what this is?" You nod. Of course you do. You're the only person who realizes what you've done. Truly. Not even him. You begin to feel a deep burn within your gut as you look in the direction of the voice. Bile and hatred, a natural reaction. A glass of cold tea sits in your hand, numbing it. Numbing the rage, reintroducing you to reality. The cycle of destruction on its surface refracts the golden liquid within. I hope you like your tea cold and sweet. That's how we make around here. Reverend Gill sits not at a desk, but a rocking chair on his new back porch. Ink sits to your left in a similar piece of furniture. The light from the sun dances between the woven shade of the awning above you. I thank you all for returning to our fine town. Ink. Empty eyes. Awful, empty eyes. The stink of hair. Burned, the smoke of it trapped on her scent. You dream of it on bad days, the smell of burnt out eyes. Within them, a sky full of stars, orange embers. What did those eyes see before the fire washed it away? Did she know? Was it over fast? You haven't been able to go to the spot lately, making excuses not to go, really. You feel a little guilty, but it's not like she'd know, you know? Did it do it? The Black Paragon? Was it this thing that took her from the world? You find yourself yet again touching its surface. Do you even mean to do that? Is it making you? Did it make her? You feel... How do you even describe the feeling? You know it without having reason to. This thing is... It is something. Like it's asleep? Waiting? Hiding? The slap of Gil's hand on a nearby glass tabletop startles you. You find yourself tuning out the Reverend. How long has this conversation been going on? You fight back to pay attention. And you're sitting in front of him. A little awning over top, some sunlight coming in. You sit, both of you, with tea in your hand from a decanter that sits upon that glass top table. Sort of like patio furniture. You're both sitting in rocking chairs, woven in the seat and comfortable. And he sits there sipping his, little ice cubes floating in it. Sets it down. So, what can I do for you? You can see he pulls a little timepiece out near his waist and looks at it, flips it up, and then looks back. as if he's busy.
Well, we have is the letter that preceded us said brought you the item that was at the warehouse.
Yeah, I apologize. I knew of your pending arrival, though not specifics, thanks to your letter, but my attention is needed elsewhere for the evening. I realize this causes you some inconvenience, but my duties to the Lord and to the town require my priority. So we don't have to do this exchange until later. I hope you understand and would love to conduct this business tomorrow evening in the garden. I'll walk you there myself tomorrow. But for the moment, I'm happy to have a short conversation. What do you need?
Well, I think we just wanted to touch base and let you know we were here. And we didn't think we were standing you up or anything.
Speak up a little bit.
Sorry. I'm a little fucked up from the beginning.
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay.
I heard you, but this is in my ear, so. Okay. Well, you are here, and I appreciate that.
I don't mean to bring up an elephant in the room, but just considering the way things left off last time, I want to make sure that we are all right.
How did things last time work out?
Fine, I suppose, but just with the letter and the business with the box we have brought you, we want to make sure that we are okay for the time being.
I have invited you into my home.
I'm not too worried. It's
Can I
alright.
insight check his attitude?
Yeah, you can try.
17?
Seems preoccupied.
Okay.
Well, seems you've got some important business, so I think
Of course.
we'll head back and leave you to that, and then look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Absolutely. May the Lord bless you on your way. And please feel free. The town has seen some changes since you last arrived, so
We noticed.
It's been pretty good.
enjoy your time. You get up and leave?
Mm-hmm.
Do you drink the tea?
No.
As you walk out, Isabella. The sun is cold on your skin in the middle of summer. Wind combs through the fields below the overlook some ways away. The garden patio, where you cover your thinning shoulders with a new woven blanket, brought to you as a gift from far away east and foreign. Your bones shiver from within, the coldness of death eating away at your body. It has affected you in rare ways, this ailment. All the doctors in the Vales couldn't possibly aid, and there are no clerics from the old gods here, banned for their heresy against mankind, executed in their churches. Nobody utters the holy words anymore. At least not here. Nor should they. You breathe in the sunlight, desperate for a warmth that never comes. Ceramic fingertips of your right hand clink against the glass of the Gem Hotel. No longer in your garden, no longer cold. The porch on the front, cast in the afternoon light, orange like sparks. You're no longer warm either, dulled by your distance from everything. You feel far away all the time. It's nice. Soren. You notice her distance. As you feel fine in this place. You both sit in the Gem Hotel and await the arrival of these two. Quietly downstairs. There are other people in this place. Again, the Gem Hotel has seen some more traffic here. Like I said, there were some families available, or some families here staying. Houses being built. The town is expanding. You say anything as you sit here for those moments?
Mr. Lazarus, how do you feel about being back here?
I suppose I'm a little nervous about how this could all play out. But I have questions for the Reverend myself, so I'm hoping that this ends up being a good thing for us.
You don't feel any different because of the church service?
No. No, I feel
You think of your strange passenger that you imbibed on purpose. And every day it eats away at a little bit of the person you used to be, taking from you fragments of your past. But there's something about it that maybe you feel as though roll an insight check.
19.
The noise in your head that has been with you, slightly growing over time, like you mentioned last session, almost like a boiling pot of water that you don't realize you're in, slowly growing from a simmer. The voices are still there. The noise is still there. But as you think about it, and you reflect, often trying to run from these, but now sober, and trying to maintain this, the voices are different. Not entirely. There's something, maybe it's a tone, maybe it's a phrase, there's something underneath that feels different. Something is changing. And you find yourself trying to gain ground. You don't know. You feel physically fine, apart from the detoxification, apart from your normal physical ailments, from old injuries to nagging pain to the headache that you never don't have. But there's a peace to being in host, one you didn't expect or experience last time. It's not total. It doesn't make you feel at peace. There's just an aspect of comfort. At this, you can see out the window Isaac and Ink walking down Main Street. They'll be here shortly. As you can see them out the windows of the gem. Is there anything else you'd want to talk about before they arrive?
No, I don't think.
Okay. You see the two of them through the window, just barely. You can see as the light sort of shines onto the window. It's kind of hard to see through the glass, but you can see familiar shapes and a porcelain hand clinking the glass as you walk into the gem. And you sit down at the table, or you do something else?
Is there water at the table?
Yeah, I'll say there's a
okay.
decanter of water
I'm
at the
gonna
table.
pour water, like a full cup, and just like gulp it down.
Okay. So you pour the water and you gulp it down and you
Are you alright?
Much better now. He wants to meet us tomorrow. He
Alright.
was busy tonight, so tomorrow at some point he's going to walk us to the garden. Whatever that is.
Is it just me, or is it incredibly disconcerting how indifferent he seems to us, considering what is going on?
Yeah, it seems like he almost doesn't care that we're here.
Which either means he is trying to lull us, or he genuinely has something bigger going on, which is not a better option.
But it means he'd be less occupied with us, which means it might make it a bit easier.
That is true.
That could work out in our favor. Did he say what he was busy with tonight?
Oh
Was it
no,
a church service?
didn't even mention it. I didn't think it was our place to ask, really. To
Yeah,
be
that's
fair.
fair.
He said specifically that his attentions are needed elsewhere
Yeah,
for the evening. You didn't pry.
If it was service, we could have eavesdropped. But oh well.
either way, we're stuck here until tomorrow.
What do you want to do?
Did you, when we were in there, did you feel weird at all?
Yes, I was
Okay, it wasn't just me
having
then.
trouble paying attention to what he was saying.
What do you mean?
When we were sitting down, I had a
You actually
flash
don't
of-
remember walking from the front door to the porch, and you don't remember sitting down, and you don't remember getting tea.
honestly remember walking up to the door and then leaving, I guess.
So you
and then
don't
part of the
You
conversation.
remember the end of the
but
conversation.
You don't remember the beginning of the meeting.
Remember standing at the door and hearing his footsteps and having that anxiety.
Are we consciously aware that we were kind of focusing on memories and like
You
stuff like that?
Yeah, you know what you were thinking
Okay.
about, and then it's not like conscious, but when it's brought up, it's like
Sure.
you know, your mind goes from wandering and like going to that to, oh, well, this is what I'm doing. Like, yeah, there's an understanding.
Mine was the day that I gave Atticus my research.
Mine was the day my sister died.
Which day was basically the day everything else happened.
It wasn't just a recreation. It was definitely. It was a memory, and then your reaction to the memory. You weren't like having a vision.
Yeah.
Like you were trapped in thought. It was very strange.
I also found myself thinking about before I changed into this body. Back in the garden at home.
Which is interesting. You don't often have memories. Not that you can't remember, but they feel like a story. They don't ever feel like you. This one felt like you.
Did you have anything?
No. Isabella and I were talking. The only thing I really notice is I feel a little more comfortable in my own head, if that makes sense.
Well, I guess that's
I don't know how to describe it, but
Perhaps you're becoming part of the town in the way that the others do.
it's disconcerting.
bad.
But perhaps.
I don't like it here, but we don't have a choice.
You look out and it's an idyllic country town. The streets are pretty clean. Kids play. Adults move things around and build, and you still hear the clangs of hammers as people are putting these basically roofing shingles, like these wooden cured roofing shingles, on a nearby domicile, I suppose. And again, across the street, you see the general store which is no longer just called the General Store. It's called Host General Merchandise and Grocery. That has definitely improved and seems nicer inside. And, the church has had changes. Remember the spire with the empty orb atop it? Glass.
Well, all I know is we need to be ready for anything. So if we have to escape, we should have a plan beforehand. Kind of know what the city looks like. So we
Yeah,
might
it's a
be
town.
able
It's a small. It's
Well,
not like
town, yeah.
there's a main street and then a secondary street with the churches on, and basically after that it's just, I guess, tributary streets, or I guess dirt roads that lead to homes or homesteads, or the natural paths that this place has been grown through. There's also the cemetery. That's I guess sort of off the beaten path. There's
Do we know where the garden is?
you don't know at all about
Okay.
a garden.
The problem with that is, well, we could either run out on the road and be incredibly obvious, or we wander into the woods, which contains creatures like the one we encountered before.
They're not like teeming with evil creatures, but because you like
We
walk
didn't kill
through,
that thing.
you walk through wooded areas to get here. Like you have to, it's inside a forest basically. You have to walk, you have to take a road around and then in. So I mean, like, it's kind of like my mom's place.
Yeah, but we didn't kill the Bramblegore, so.
You didn't kill. I mean, that might exist still, but like it's not like you
Yep.
see Bramble-gores every time you walk through. So it's not like,
God
it's
knows
not like-
what else is out there.
oh yeah, yes, that. But like it's not like
That's what
the
I'm
most
saying.
fucking dangerous place you've ever walked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is harder to follow through woods.
None of you are woods folk.
True.
You grew up in the city. All of you grew up in the city. You're the closest person to a woods, and the most of the forests you have ever been in have been blown out, and the trees aren't there anymore. So, like no man's land. But yeah, escaping into the forest is an option.
Well, if we can get on the cart, obviously it makes it easier.
Yeah.
They do have horses here, so
Yeah, but it's easier to run on horses
for sure.
than it is to run away from horses without horses.
That's the almost doctorate talking.
You also think to yourself, if I absolutely have to, I'll rush this. You don't know what that means, but
Well, should probably get some food. Did we get a room yet? Or rooms?
No, we've just been waiting down here. We didn't know how things were going to play out.
Fair enough. Well, we should probably get some rooms.
Hattie, who owns the gym, is at the bar area where she usually is, tending to people, making her chili, handing out drinks to people. Do you walk up to her?
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, hi there, folks. Looking for a room?
Yes, please.
Okay. We only have one available today.
That's all right.
It's 10 gold for the room. It's a big one, though. Should how many people you got in your
We have 4 people.
Okay, where y'all from?
We are from the city.
Okay.
Does she not remember him?
1 plat. I realize that.
Thank you very much. All right, there's no locks, or there's no keys. There's only locks on the inside, so.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. And you walk back to the table.
I'll walk back to the table. And I'll sit down. Be like, they got her. No. They got her. No. Hattie didn't remember me. It's been what, a week and a half? 2 weeks?
Mm,
It's not that long.
And she
Was not
wasn't
part of it.
no,
It is not good.
just like
Perhaps
You
she
three
just
weren't.
doesn't remember our faces very well.
I think she would probably remember us.
Did help out that one morning.
We
I think
helped-
she might remember us.
We helped out. It was only a week ago. I don't know how many tabaxi they see either.
Maybe
So
she sees a lot of people. The town has been
Maybe
bustling.
whatever happened to you three is happened to her.
Maybe. Well, maybe she's.
You don't seem to have problems remembering anything.
Her memory's fine. You
For
had
now.
a problem with the memory. Only would make sense by putting two and two together that if she has memory problems and you had memory problems, she's probably partaked. But
That's what-
either way, we should get some food and then probably move up to the room.
Maybe we eat in the room.
That's what I'm thinking.
There's a little bit of time that goes by before you're. It's just chili. Meat, beans, vegetables in a reddish brown broth thing. Is that what you
Looks
want?
like me, yeah.
A little bit of bread. Okay. So some chili is brought over, and she has it on like this platter. She starts handing it out. She goes, "All right, can I get anybody anything else?" And then the doors to the gym, like not like slammed open, but definitely a little bit louder than the other people. Like a little slap with both hands at the saloon style doors as they poof, get opened, and then you see Ijar Gerald.
Oh God.
Thin in his like galoshes that are unbuckled at the top, some denim jeans that have like if they were on a clothes hanger and not on his body, you feel like the legs would stick out stiff. A dirty sort of buttoned up plaid shirt, kind of a Western style vest over top that he wears like every day that has like little pockets in it. You can see the space where he keeps like a little tin of rolled up cigarettes. He's roughly dirty face, hands that work every single day, calloused. He has a strapped gun onto his back. He has a straw hat. And he walks in and he sits down and he goes, "Eddie!" And she looks over. "Yeah. Working on some customers here, Jer." And he goes, "Yeah, just when you're ready." "Yeah." And he sits there and he just sort of like taps.
I want to overhear this so bad.
Yeah, I'm just watching.
And so you eat your chili, start eating your chili, and she walks up to him, and I need perception checks from anybody because he's across the room. Unless you want to walk up to him.
Fuck. I think that's a 12.
16.
18.
Two of you. You can kind of hear. You have a hard time hearing as Ink is like with the meaty, delicious chili that you have confirmed she's using beef, not human. Actually, I think it was lamb. But anyway, the two of you here. You don't hear everything. You hear him say, like, you're not gonna believe it. Something happened. Like, I don't know what to do next. I need a drink to clear my mind. And he pops, and he just sits there and drinks, and he thinks. And she sort of dismisses him. She's like, okay.
I walk up to the bar,
Okay, so you walk up to the bar.
buy him a drink.
You buy him a drink. Okay, he's drinking like basically a Bud Light,
Sounds
like
good.
whatever shittiest, cheapest beer there is. And you give him another beer and just a silver for one of those.
Sure.
I'm gonna go up there with him.
Here's a gold.
Cause
I
you were
talked to
here.
Jer for a
Now
bit
he's got a
last time.
tab.
Okay, he's got a tab.
I gave gold.
Okay, so you tell Hattie to run a tab for him. She goes, "All right, your choice.
Feeling generous today.
Do you want one too?" And she cracks one open part of the tab.
No, thank you. Just some water would be nice.
Sure.
Hands you a cold beer, nice and cold. What do you say? Water?
Mhm.
Okay, she hands you a water, and she goes, "Fresh well water."
Thank you.
And you both sidle up to him for a moment. He goes, "Oh, thank you. Welcome back to town.
Oh, thank you.
Turn.
Inigo.
Close enough. Starts with an I. I-S.
Yeah. Zach.
I-S-
Isaac.
Close.
Isaac!
Yes.
All right. I'll drink to that one. And, Seth.
Soren.
That's a real name? Not a
Yeah.
nickname?
What's my real name?
Well, all right. Gerald. I'll remember this time. Okay. Well, how are you all? He seems very... He's, like, happy that you bought him drinks, but he's not, like, willing to
Hmm?
get much more, because he's, like, playing it close to the vest.
Understandable. Not doing too bad. How are you?
Oh, good.
You seem excited.
Excited, you say? He sort of squints his eyes.
You got beer. How wouldn't you be excited?
Okay, you deflected.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yeah, I suppose that is. Sort of drinks a little bit.
Free
and
stuff's always the best.
He goes into his little tin and grabs a rolled cigarette, and then Hattie goes, Jer, not in here. And he goes, sorry. And he clicks it shut and puts it back. Yes. Hey, you're a doctor.
Yes. Is everything all right?
You ever, what kind of doctor are you?
Well, I mostly do surgery, but I can
Surgery.
do the general gist of things.
Make house calls?
I can. Is everything all right?
If somebody's not doing well, we should act fast.
Everyone's doing just fine here. After all, that's not the problem. Y'all been around a bit too, huh?
Just a little
I see
bit.
you got, looks over, a couple of other folks with you.
Yes.
Your sister and, some driver?
Ink.
See, she's got a gun.
Yes, it's just one of the weapons she
I don't know if
uses.
your sister's got the stomach for what I'm about to
You'd be surprised.
talk about, but,
She's helped me a lot. You'd be surprised.
well, you know how the women folk be. Delicate.
She can stomach it.
Most people think me crazy. Think me strange. Like when I told them the cult of the Shattered God is squids. Squids in suits, I say.
The what?
Squids.
Squids.
They don't seem very squiddy. Squids in suits. Came down from the stars with that thing. Yeah. Or
I love this video.
it's not like it matters anyway. We're all just figments in a play in a mind.
Well, yes, but you do exist.
No,
You're
we
real.
don't.
You are real.
We exist in a mad world.
Yes.
Inside the mind of madness. Jer, you're scaring, and you can see folks around, like, starting to be like, have their kids listen. Jer, I'm gonna have to.
Would you
All
like
right,
to
your
go?
tab's gonna carry over next time. Take one for the road, and she cracks another one and hands it to him. Like, can you
Perhaps
take
we
this
could-
outside? And he goes, yeah, I need to smoke anyway.
Yeah, I'll grab a
Nice.
smoke with you.
And he starts to just walk out without you guys. And he
Walk
starts
out.
to fidget for a smoke.
I
And
I'm
he
gonna
lights it
look
before he
at
goes
the
through
table
the saloon.
and just be like,
Yeah, as soon as I see them walking out, I'm walking with. I'm
I-
so curious.
You
finish
you-
the bowls.
You
Chili
finish
and
finish
water.
Isabella's bowl of chili.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
With a little wipe. You see some red stains in the white fur, and you walk out and follow.
I'm gonna start rolling a cigarette of my own as we do though.
Okay. He offers you one of his own,
Sure. I'll save me
like
some time.
halfling root.
Oh god.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a drug addict. he takes a little brass sort of lighter and lights it for you. And lights it for himself.
Thank you.
Offers the rest of you one.
I'm good, thank you. How good would a doctor be if he smoked?
More calm.
Fair enough.
He starts to walk. You see, I got this theory as he starts walking down the main street. We're all trapped inside the mind of the hunger.
The thing from 30 years ago?
Yeah.
Didn't they
They-
objectively destroy that?
Were you there?
No.
Born yet?
I literally am reading a book about it right now. It's
But-
dead.
When you
I
mentioned
could
it,
write
I
a
feel
book
like
about anything,
I
couldn't
feel
I?
like I've gotten
I mean,
some
you-
deja vu.
You could, but... Like, he has written fiction books. Your fiction books
Yeah.
are not, like...
Were there stories written by people that were there?
You've written books too?
Yeah.
Lies!
Mine don't pretend to be true.
What can you tell us?
Could not tell you. What you know of history?
Why do you think that we live inside the hunger?
Why don't you? The
Well,
world's mad, don't you see it? It's the only explanation.
that's
The
one,
madness of the world.
one of many potential explanations.
I think that's just randomness.
I think you're maybe looking for an easy solution to the world's problems because the intensity and complexity of them is too insurmountable for you to handle.
No. I've dealt for years with this kind of thing. Back in my day, before all this, I was a hunter.
Before the moon crash.
Oh, yes. I was a young man like you. Hunting many wild beasts. You ever look down inside the beak of a matron owl bear protecting her cubs?
Can't say that I have.
I fucking have. Ain't no fear until the fear is something consuming you, whole, without malice, without rage, just 'cause it's hungry. That's real fear, the indifference.
Well, it seems like it wouldn't scare you easily if it was scary, so...
As you walk down the trail and he turns, you can start to see the driveway of his house. It's sort of a enclosed driveway, rural, where he's cut out this sort of pathway, and the foliage is very thick. You see ferns and all sorts of trees, and you can see a place in the side where he's been routinely and systematically like cutting down trees and using them for firewood for years and years, and just sort of his yard continues to grow. And there is it's a house with that seemed to have original like log cabin style design, probably pre-moon crash at this point. But since then, it's gotten some additions to the house. Some of them piecemeal, like pieces of sheet metal and pieces of like clearly handmade aspects to this place, with the structure of something that was built by probably a more accomplished carpenter. But he's got a wood pile with tarps over it, front door, and a cellar on the side that you can keep your dried non-perishables. It also has a backyard with what essentially is several targets that he uses for target practice. He seems to have a shooting range out back, and there's like a small pond, and behind that shooting range is a mound of dirt, probably dug from that pond, that keeps the bullets from traveling too far into anything. He talks as you guys walk on the gravel towards the house. He fidgets with the little brass lighter. Has like a small wick basically that lights, ignites, and then closes and snuffs it out, similar to a lantern, I guess. So it's not quite like a Bic lighter or a Zippo or anything. It's a little bit older. And rolls or lights up the second roll that he smoked, even just on this walk. As you can see, he's just fidgeting. There you are. Just terrible things out there. Unspeakable things. Things at the edge of the reality that are trying to get in. Maybe it's thoughts from the mad god himself. I guess there's alternate theories. If we're not inside the mind of a mad god, then we're in the universe of an uncaring collection of them. Gods at the edge of nothing. No longer held back because the old ones are dead and the older ones trying to find their place at the top. Back after a power vacuum. Abominations from before the world was seen by human eyes. In the outer realms. Well, they're not so outer anymore, are they? Closer than ever. You see insane people everywhere nowadays. World's gone mad with them. Mad without the gods. Something's missing in creation. Nothing sticks together anymore. There's no glue. We're just floating islands in a dead sea. As he walks up to the front door and fidgets with some keys and opens several locks on different parts of his ring, puts them away, opens the door to a room. There's basically the central space here. It has the fireplace and the hearth at the back. There's wings out to the right and left that are what he was building, and something out past, maybe back doors that add to the backyard, or maybe there's something in the back of the house you haven't seen yet. But it's a living space. It has animal pieces like rabbits hanging. It has dried herbs. There's a whole shelf and wall with provisions. This looks like a prepper's cabin. The glass on the front door, like there's an outside door and then there's a front door that basically is a glass door. So it's a two-door entrance. One opens out towards the porch, one opens in. That one is like this stained glass that seems to be reclaimed from somewhere else, like a not expensive stained glass, not like a church, but like a like you see some sort of antique places around, like and they'll have like weird glass doors, or they'll have odd things. It seems like maybe there was an estate sale and he bought a door and put it in his house. And there's a chair where you can envision many nights of manic contemplation have taken place. A leather chair with a fabric sort of like rug or blanket draped over the back. You see the stains of him that having sat there at various states of filth and having worked all day, sweat stains. You see next to it a tall and thin sort of side table with an ashtray that's filled to the top. And he goes and just naturally sort of sits down, still smoking this half of the rolled thing, and finishing his drink and tossing it into the fireplace that still burns. What you know about history?
A little bit.
What you know about the creation of everything?
Not very much.
Mostly just like commonly held theories.
I'm proficient in history.
I mean, what do either of you know about the lore of this place?
Good question.
Do either of you? I
Nope.
mean, there's no role for it. So if you know it, you know it.
Not.
It's never come up. The creation story is so far back, and there's so many religions, right?
Right. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
I don't even think Elenia knew that.
Yeah.
it's old history.
I
There.
don't even
Unless
think-
unless you were a historian character or someone who was specifically interested in this kind
Yeah,
of
I
thing.
mean,
you
even-
I
probably
mean,
wouldn't know.
that's pre-professor.
Even in like Avelios'
Yeah,
private
pre-professor.
tutoring, he probably wouldn't have
Right.
even looked at
The
it.
closest Professor may have known this. In fact, there was some talks of this particular topic, especially when you were talking about elves. He goes on to explain. Gee, elves were the first people. They landed in paradise. We call it Pelatoria today. You see, elves back then weren't elves now. They'd, I guess, kind of be closer to angel folk, you know, the ones without the shadows. Ageless, beautiful creatures, skin made of starlight. Well, these folks didn't know when they arrived that there were rulers of the world. Ones that lived outside of Pelatoria. The great old ones. Millions of years, they say. Before the gods, before the demons. The most primordial. Before the elements. Something happened. Maybe a war with them, who knows? Maybe just chaos got them. They disappeared. And there's been rumors, legends forever. And he looks backwards, and you see that there's been this cabinet that's closed, sort of like something you keep antiques in, but it doesn't have like a viewing display thing, and it has a lock on the front door. And he gets up, and he starts walking over to it. As you all stand, there's nowhere else to sit here. It was designed for him and not company. In fact, the dinner table is a tray that seems to be folded up and put next to the fireplace brick. He walks over to it and he unclicks it, and it opens. And he starts to grab stuff. And you hear a like heavy stone, like get moved out of some sort of other hard thing, and you can see it's like a box that he's opened, and he's grabbing something. Almost like the sound of like those cement tiles you'd get at Home Depot to make a pathway with your in your yard. And it picks it up and he starts walking over, and you can see the sinewy muscles that he has. Steps over and he can grab that tray, and you see his dinner tray, and you grab it, and you sort of like set it out like a TV tray that you'd eat at a couch. And he sets it down with a. When you see the entire thing, sort of as it's it stands like this, just like the trays we have over here. It gets pushed down, and there's more tension on the cross. And you see a clay tablet. You see not an ancient thing, but a clay pressing of an ancient thing. Like it was, there was a mold taken. And on it, there's a strange bunch of writing or something. Hieroglyphs around the edges. Language that none of you recognize. Well, if it is language. It's pictographic. It's old. Do any of you speak any ancient languages?
I only speak Sylvan.
I speak deep speech and I have eyes of the Runekeeper, so I can read all writing.
Okay. As you look at it, and there is, like, on the inside of it, there is, like, something else. But when you find yourself looking at it, one of you has a familiar reaction, and it's you. It makes you feel uneasy and nauseous. All of you feel that, but you remember having this feeling. When you looked at Reverend Gill's book, whatever that was, for just a moment through the window. It's not as strong, it's not as... You don't feel like you have to hurl like you did when you did it outside the door. But it still makes you all queasy, and it makes you queasy as well. I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw.
7.
7, you can't read the writing. You can't spend enough time on it. Sits, and then after a second, he takes a handkerchief that's definitely been used, and it's a little crusty at the middle, and he sets it over top of it so it doesn't bother you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where did you find this?
Long time ago.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
In town.
Yeah.
I lived here for many years.
So you were here first?
Me and some others. The church was here. An old thing. I think it used to be a sulfan. Or something. And people started to move in here a few years ago. And the Reverend was around.
So you're around from the beginning?
Around the time people started moving in. Moved into the church and started holding services to nobody. And people started to show up. And the town started to begin. Now there were others around here, some of the farms you pass on the way, but there's something strange with these fuckers.
I've noticed. It's very obvious.
You ever meet anybody that just seemed a little off to you?
Mm-hmm.
Like there wasn't a captain of the ship? No hen in the hen house sort of shit?
Hattie did tonight, actually. She didn't remember us from a week ago.
His eye twitches. He didn't notice.
Yeah.
Not Hattie.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, she's not as hollow. Not yet. If she is, she's not all the way there. I call them the hollow people. That's right, hollow people. Stolen bodies. Inhabited by something.
Almost like the body's the host. Or something else.
Sort of leans forward towards you all as and the orange lights up his face and he blows it out and he flicks it into the fireplace and he looks wild at you all. I caught one.
You've what?
I caught one.
One of the villagers?
One of the hollow people.
Why
Are they here?
keeping them?
It's in my cellar.
That makes sense. You wanted a house call.
What? What did you need us for in regard to this hollow person you're keeping in your basement?
Well, I got a gun, you got a gun, he's got a gun, and you're a doctor. I figure if between the four of us we can't figure out, and well, I hope you just stay out the way, and then he's a little sexist.
A little.
He thinks he's doing a noble thing by telling you to be safe. So it comes from a good place. If misplaced.
We're gonna go talk to the hollow person.
You believe me?
Why not?
Why not? It can't hurt, right?
Things have been going very strange lately.
Did you say talk to the thing?
Yes?
Good luck.
It can't speak.
If it can, it won't speak to me.
We've
Interesting.
had conversations with people who are under the effect of the Reverend, though, unless this is a different
Yes.
phenomenon that is a further, evolution of what is happening.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have an idea. This might work.
Well, why don't we go
Anyways,
down and
let's go
see?
down.
He slings the shotgun off his shoulder and it's got a few slugs.
Let's try not to shoot anyone unless absolutely necessary, perhaps.
Yes, it's kind of loud, so
It's not dead yet. They won't think anything of it. I shoot out here all the time.
That is not my primary concern. Like, for instance, this hollow person, like, what if that is an effect that we find out can be reversed and you've shot a villager of some sort?
Well, what if perhaps that
Why
they
don't
can-
you look at the goddamn thing before you worry about shit that doesn't matter? You're in over your fucking head. As he starts to walk outside.
oh, I follow immediately.
Sure. Yep.
What were you saying?
What if perhaps they can communicate across one
He's still
another?
walking out, but you get to say it. Okay.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I could say that as we're walking.
Yeah. You stop and he okay, and then you start to walk out, and he doesn't kick open the door, but he uses his foot to push it open as he walks out, and you won't walk out behind him, and he steps to the cellar. Again, a padlock. And he unlocks it, and there's stairs down to a cellar. And he stops before he turns around, and he looks at you all.
You saw right.
You ain't cops, are you?
No.
Absolutely
You
not.
waited a very strange amount of time to ask that.
You should have asked that before you told us you had someone in your cellar.
You know cops can lie to you, right? The cops can lie to you if you ask, are you cops? They can say, no, we are
He starts
not
walking
cops.
down. As he steps down, he takes you hear him uncork or unscrew the flask that he poured into his coffee last time you visited him, and he takes a drink and he blindly offers it back to any of you if you'd want it. No.
Good for now,
no.
thank you.
Suit yourself. You walk down to the cellar, and the first part of the cellar is shelves on both sides. They have canned goods like you expected. But at the back of the cellar, about 15 feet across from where you're standing, is something you didn't expect. You see out of place a steel wall or a metal wall of some kind that's polished like stainless steel, and then set into it is a similarly steel door with a strong latch and a window. It's essentially a walk-in cooler, but like magical from before.
Jesus Christ, who the fuck is this guy?
What the fuck?
He's got a bunker, dude.
He's a fucking prepper.
Yeah. And he looks back and he goes, "You didn't see this." You all have a vague awareness of this being an illegal magical thing, which is probably why I asked if you're cops. That although it's not a particularly strong enchantment, this is perpetual chill and is constantly magical, frowned upon. There's a small frosted window, a little circular portal that you'd have to wipe to walk up to and look at.
I do.
And you walk up to it, and there's another lock on the door that keeps it shut. And he goes, "You tried to get out. It's too sealed in there. I seen this fucker slip through gap no bigger than an inch. Can't get out of this fucking thing, though. Can you, motherfucker?" And you hear him, like, he taps the door with the barrel of his shotgun. And you hear a tap, and then inside you hear, just a quick,
By chance, did it change when it slips through that gap?
"What do you mean change?"
Like its form?
Yeah, it fucking squeezed through an inch. Of course the form changed.
Yeah, it's like, but like it's, did it still look human?
As human as you can, squeezing through an inch-sized space.
Well, of course.
It always looked like flesh.
So I thought,
Goop flesh.
okay.
Like if
So-
you turned to liquid and went through an inch.
So Reverend Gill is turning the entire town into goo people. Is basically what's happening.
He was more red,
This
right?
ain't no one that's been turned into nothing. This is a hollow person.
Ah, so you're saying this
Look at
was-
the damn thing.
I'll look at it.
You can't see it yet. So you wipe through. Make a perception check. Is anybody else trying to look through
Yeah.
at the same time?
Yeah.
2 people can look through. Otherwise,
Ugh,
17.
5.
5. You try to look through, but Isaac is like this and covering most of it as he looks in, wipes it away. And inside here you can see hanging, like 2 hanging carcasses, both deer that have been hunted and carved up and frozen. You see, like in any freezer, some racks, some metal racks with some other stuff on it. But standing there in between the 2, motionless. Not hiding. Just standing. You see a person. No shoes. Slacks. A normal sort of button-up, semi-burgundy looking shirt, like maybe a red. Stands and looks at you. But with a 17, and you can see this humanoid figure standing in there. With a 17, you do not recognize this person. You haven't seen them in town.
Okay.
A 17 gets you. The form of this person, as you look through, and it's not breathing. There's no like exhaling of like vapor into this frozen space. It seems almost generic. Like a blank human. Too symmetrical. Male-ish. Short hair. Somewhere between brown and blonde. And you sort of...
Soren, you're probably gonna want to see this.
Oh,
It's
okay.
interesting.
Sure. I'll go up and take a look.
Oh, did you get that from the mountain?
Yeah. Fresh dew.
And you get up to the window, and Ink sort of moves aside too, and go ahead and make a perception check. With advantage since he's pointing it out.
13.
It's like a fresh blender model.
13. I mean, you see what I just described. You look at it. And just stands there.
For the fiction.
And then you see the face get closer. Just the face. And then the rest of it joins. And it gets close to it when you walk up. And it goes
Exactly what I thought.
at you.
That's exactly what I thought.
And you hear.
I was right.
Just to you. The rest of you just hear like that. With that backing of Like there's multiple voices in there. I just can't do it. I'm a human.
So this was not a person that used to live here, but just appeared out of nowhere?
I ain't never seen him. Them?
When did they show up?
Showed up to my house.
They just appeared at your door?
I don't know if they appeared. They arrived.
And they just knocked on your door?
No.
Slipped in, I assume.
Yes.
Attempting to harm
And then
you?
I came at me. Luckily, I was, well, cleaning the old lady. Blasted it once. Ran out. Ran down to the cellar to try to lock myself in. Try to give myself a kill box. Slipped through the fucking cellar door. So I ran into the freezer. It ran in, slipped behind me, ran into the door, and you can see a little itty bitty dent at the back of the freezer. I ran out, shut the door. Last night. I'm sitting here contemplating, and you can see in the corner of the room that you hadn't really been paying attention to, there's like several cigarette butts of him standing here and just flicking them like this. Just staring into the fucking portal of that door.
Well,
I ain't know what to do if I let it out. I got one shot. Hasn't died yet. Doesn't even look cold. And you can see it's receded. It goes back as it doesn't retrieve a message from you and it just stands there still.
did Soren share with the class that he understood?
No.
Not in front of Jer.
That was Isaac's idea, so I guess I'm going to ask him.
Okay. So you heard it you heard it, you saw it move and it went
Because when we were upstairs, it's like, I have an idea. And that was literally
Yeah,
my fucking
sure.
thought process. So I didn't want to, like, metagame that. I
Go
just
ahead and
wanted
ask
to run
him.
it past.
I mean, you saw it happen.
Did it communicate with you?
I mean, I heard it talk like the rest of you did, and then telepathically. Yeah, it was asking for me to let it out.
Excuse me?
He's telepathic now.
He's telepathically talking
I used
to
it
you?
once before, and it was.
I don't remember this.
It was the
I just-
Bramble Gore fight.
I just let it happen. We just accept it and keep that in.
Okay.
Well, is this the only one that you've seen?
I'm not sure,
Fair enough.
but I've been hearing stories of hollow people for years. This has gotta be it. It's gotta be one of them.
Where'd you hear the stories from?
Over time, where'd you hear your stories from?
Books?
Yeah, books, tales of travelers. People are less inclined to share their experiences with unnatural things nowadays. It's just one of those stories you know over time.
What else do you know about them?
They're terrible creatures. They want nothing.
Just violent.
No. Does it look violent?
Oh, it broke into your house and attacked you.
Sure, but if I was a dog, I don't think it would have. It's not violence. It's
Almost like
said, like-
hunting, in a sense.
It's the owl bear again. A direction. Sure, maybe you or I would find it violent or evil, but I don't think it has any intent at all. Look at it.
It's just instinct.
Hmm.
You can see his eyes are just trained on it, like he's been staring at it. He probably was staring at it right before he came to the gym and then figured he had to eat today.
Have you seen anyone turn into these hollow
No.
people? Not even the people who started going to the church?
Yes. No. The answer didn't change. No, I've never seen anyone turn into this. I don't think you turn into this.
Do you have any particular people that have shown up in the town recently that you believe are this? I assume most of them.
Don't know.
There's no one that sticks out.
Oh, not know.
Has there been anyone in town as long as you? Or before the Reverend showed?
Well, there's some old timers that have since died. A lot of people moved back to the cities after the crash. It was white out here for a while. Vanguard Draw was destroyed. Those people. Terrible diaspora. A lot of strange creatures. Moon infected. But nah, I'm probably the oldest one here now. If not, I don't rightly know them. To be fair, I don't consider myself part of Host.
Why would it attack you if it had no purpose, though?
I don't think it has no purpose. I think it has no desire to do violence.
You think it was hungry?
So then,
Or whatever it feels. I think it was an instinct. It didn't seem... it never had anger in its eyes. It still doesn't. You look and it just stands there blankly.
It's not malicious. It is just.
but it has something to gain from your death.
Or it's an instinct it's following. Whether it gains or loses is probably irrelevant. I don't think this thing is even alive, really.
Seems alive to me.
Hasn't breathed in 2 days.
Things don't have to breathe to be alive.
Well, if you find another sign of life, let me know.
What are your ideas?
My idea is to kill the fucking thing. I just need more hands to do it. I can't keep it in there forever. I'm gonna need that meat.
When it attacked you initially, what should we be concerned for? Did it take any particular form or anything that... I don't know how it attacked you is basically what I'm asking. If we are going to fight it.
It didn't attack. It didn't get to attack me yet.
It just chased you.
It tried.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Well, the problem is it can slip out.
That's right.
So we might have to fight in the freezer.
If you want to.
Unless you have another option to reduce the chance of it slipping out.
Well, I thought maybe you were a doctor. You could look at the damn thing. I don't know.
We have to hold it down at least. Strap it up.
Possible.
I don't know how I can look at it.
Slip
I
out
can't
of any
put my hands on it.
bonds. Well, I don't know either. You're the doctor, not me. Y'all have a strange way about you, I figure. You're out of town. You can't be one of them.
Could we lure it into a container?
Don't have one.
Yeah.
The only thing we have is the freezer.
How big is the cellar area? Like outside of the freezer?
About 15 feet. About 15. It covers the bottom of the house, basically.
What's the what is it, a ladder or a set of stairs that went up?
Stairs that go up to the cellar.
We could just try to keep the cellar doors closed and do our best to try and
It
incapacitate
slipped through the
them.
cellar doors to get in. Like, easily. He's like, it didn't lose movement speed. He just so they don't do anything.
While they're talking about that, I want to telepathically try and talk to the creature as well.
What do you want to say?
Why are you here?
As it hears that, it looks over to you. Back up to the front. And you can see it try to test the sides. You can't see what it looks like, but you can hear this sort of like. And you say, "Why are you here?" And you don't get a response.
Can you hear me?
It seems to react to your telepathic something, but it doesn't. You don't. You don't feel like you're reaching a mind. It's hitting something enough to sense that noise is in its head, but it doesn't register to it in a way that
Okay.
makes sense to it.
Okay, well, I'm going to abandon that plan then.
Okay.
Rejoin this conversation.
How big is the inside of the freezer, from what we can see?
It's a pretty big size freezer. You don't know how many feet necessarily. It's a little perspective's off, but it's big enough to be in, all of you.
We could just try and all get in real quick and have him seal the freezer while we fight the thing. It's
I
not
feel like
ideal.
it's likely to just slip out in that case.
Well, if the freezer's sealed, it can't slip out. We just gotta be quick.
Well, when we
We have to
open
get
the
in
door
quick.
to get in.
Well, we'll have to do things as we're going in. I can try and shoot at it to distract it. We could do, I don't know. We could try something. I just think the best way to do it would be us to go in there as opposed to trying to get it out here.
That's what I think as
Yeah.
well. We can all fit. It's gonna be really tight though.
Maybe we should limit the number of people to go in. Less time for the door to be open.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
How fast have we seen it move so far?
Pretty quick. It's not like imperceptibly fast or anything, but
We might have to do one at a time even.
If Isaac is going, I'm going with him.
You should probably come with us, Soren.
Yeah, well, I was thinking myself and Ink. If you think you can move fast enough, yeah.
It's my only worry. Just faster than I am. I don't have to be in there. I can watch from the outside. Kind of have some ideas about what I'm seeing, so if I can watch how it reacts and moves, then I might get some better idea.
Yeah.
If it doesn't react to pain, then that's a very obvious indicator.
I shot
so
it. Didn't seem very worried about it.
Exactly so. Its nerves are probably not working, so
But as you can see, not even the shirt is ripped from that.
interesting. I think I can watch from out here. That's all right.
Sure.
I'm good. Do Do you still want to go in?
I can, but
Don't know if we should send them by themselves. It'll be alright down here, it's fine.
are you sure?
Yeah, I'll be alright. I got Jerry. I think I'll be good.
Gerald.
Gerald, I'm sorry. It's my bad. It'll be alright.
I don't know.
The 3 of them probably have it, right? You fought it, kind of.
There's got to be something you can do to hurt it.
Have you tried fire yet?
No. Didn't have any opportunity. Why you say that?
I don't know if it's goo like what you said. It's usually.
Didn't it seem to... I should stop speaking. Fire makes sense.
Especially if it's goo.
Fire is
kind of
effective
tar,
against
right?
most unholy things. That seems to be some sort of abomination. It should.
What are you, religious?
No, but I study the unusual.
If anyone's going to know, it's going to be him. So.
Well, whatever you think.
Do you have a torch? We have a torch.
I just have my lantern.
I do not have one on me.
I have torches.
Do you mind if we borrow one for this?
One.
Just one. Unless we want more, unless we want 3. Up to you. If we all want them, maybe we can back it into a corner with fire.
Could help to keep us safe.
It's just a guess. I
You
mean,
seem
know.
pretty confident about the fire thing.
I don't know.
The
Do you have
goo
any-
the goo you experimented on did not like heat and fire previously.
You experimented on some goo?
That is why I said I should stop talking, but
Isaac just stares into the side of your head. Yeah. Okay.
we have...
Okay, I'll be right back. And he starts leaving.
Wait, no,
Yeah.
we have previously acquired a part of what we think might be this hollow person undercover, and he tested it to see what would happen to it. And it didn't seem to like fire, so just to reassure you,
He steps up out of the cellar. You hear him leave. You have a few moments alone with yourselves. You want to talk about anything?
well, I hope he doesn't run off.
I don't think he will.
Do you think this is why the Reverend was so upset earlier?
I don't
Perhaps he's
think
missing
so.
a piece of himself.
He's missing one of his, yeah.
Yes, but
I don't understand.
it's not that hard to find him.
Yeah,
If the
they know where-
Reverend was looking for him,
They
he
know where
would have
Gerald
found
is.
him.
But do they know that it came after
Yeah,
Gerald and
do
that
they
it's
know?
locked here? Maybe it's not consciously aware of
Oh,
other parts of itself.
I think it's safe to assume if Reverend Gill sent it here and it didn't come back, he would know about it.
He would probably know it did not come back. That does not necessarily mean
But
he
he
knows
knows-
where it is.
But he knows where he lives. Like, it's not that hard.
But that's assuming that he sent it with the direct purpose of targeting
Even
Jer.
if he didn't, if he's missing a person,
Well, sure, he might be like, oh, there
why
is a
wouldn't
missing
he
goo
check
person.
He would ask to check the cellar, and then Gerald would get defensive
Does
about
he-
the
It's
cellar.
only
Does he
been a
know he
day.
has a cellar? He's clearly keeping the cellar a secret because
it's on the side of the house.
sure,
like a
but
it's like a tornado cellar.
The
Yeah.
what exactly it is
Oh yeah, the
I mean,
freezer
he's
part.
The
hiding
fact
a
that
large
this is a
magical
freezer
object,
and
it's not
secure.
unsearched.
Exactly. Which means Reverend Gill probably doesn't know about it.
Are we
is the
going?
assumption that I'm going with.
I don't know that he knows that Jer has it, but does he know that it's missing? And is that why he's upset? And does that put Jer in danger?
Well, it was missing last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
If
went
it was
missing
Reverend
last night.
Gill, and if I was him, and I knew I was missing that, I would obsess over it until I find it, if it's that important to him. There's no way he went the entire day without looking.
So I guess the question becomes: are we going to help kill this thing, or trap it, or are we going to?
I don't understand why we need to kill it.
I'm not saying we necessarily have to. I'm just saying, what are we going to do? Because he
think-
wants us to kill it, or
Clearly.
Trying to trap it in a corner would be the best option, and I don't think we're going to be able to really get a look at it.
Is
but-
there no way to communicate with it?
I tried. I didn't get anything from it.
You didn't hear him try.
How did you try?
When I made my pact, one of the things I got in exchange was the ability to communicate telepathically.
So you tried to talk to it telepathically?
So that Jer wouldn't know. Because we were trying to keep secrets from him.
Pretty good idea.
Did it respond? Like at all?
No, nothing. There was no... It felt like there was no sentience inside of its body. Like it was just like an
Wanna-
animal on instinct.
I want to walk over and tap on the glass.
Okay, you do. Ding, 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 ding.
And just see if
Doesn't
it
seem to
reacts
care.
at all.
He just stands there and looks at the portal. It's again. It seems just generic. Like there's no discerning features. It's very plain. And the weird part about looking at it is it looks like it's perfectly symmetrical. Like, it has this uncanny valley aspect to it that makes you uneasy to be looking at it. It's someone you wouldn't notice otherwise. But now that you pay a lot of attention, it's just like odd. Doesn't necessarily make you feel any fear or anything, but it's definitely odd. You hear footsteps of Gerald as he back down, and he has a bundle of different torches that looks like he grabbed some wood and then grabbed some fabric and then dipped it in some sort of like moonshine and then handed to you as the smell is pretty strong as he hands you each a torch. Do you want one?
Hmm?
He hands you
As
a
long
torch.
as it lights, that's all that matters.
Okay.
Got to be quick.
I'll stand, and he backs up all the way to the cellar. And he just stands and holds his gun.
Alright.
I locked. Do you guys all light your torches?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Torches light up, starting little puffs of grayish black smoke as they trace along the ceiling and out the cellar door a little bit.
What?
It's a bug.
Thank
there
you.
it
Oh,
is.
I missed it.
I got it. Fucking did. The door is there.
Okay.
It stands in the middle of the freezer on the other side. About 10 feet away.
I suppose on your mark, Isaac?
You should be last.
Sure.
We'll call this
You should be fast.
a click rule.
First, second, third, I'll shut the door.
Yeah, get in line.
First, second, third, shutting the door behind you. I'm assuming you're being inside, or are you shutting it
I
from
was
the
going
outside?
to be on the outside.
Stay outside.
It
Okay.
comes down to it, of course.
So you open the door, 1, 2, 3, then you shut the door.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2,
Yep.
3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Shut the door. Okay.
Mage armor.
Okay. Anybody else want to do anything separatory?
I'll do an armor Magathos.
But how does Gerald react?
Gerald without a D.
Gerald.
Not Jerry. Not Gerald.
What does Geraldo think about
Gerald.
Okay.
He
What does he
probably doesn't
I
even
Jar
flinch.
Jerry. Please tell me
He
how
thinks
you.
about what?
Jar Jar
When
Jerry.
I do mage armor.
What do you mean? How does he think?
When she explodes with goop?
Yeah, when I'm suddenly covered in goop.
How would you know what he thinks? How are
Oh,
you
I
trying
just
to
mean,
discern?
does he react?
Oh, you just want to see what his face looks like.
I don't know. Does he have a
Roll-
reaction?
Roll an insight check.
Fucker's crazy, and he's just okay with that.
I wouldn't
I
doubt
mean,
it.
if you're covering yourself in goo, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I just
doing
said
it in
I'm
front of him?
casting mage armor. Yeah.
Yeah, I realize you're saying that.
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Why would I not? 16.
16 insight check.
Yeah.
There was definitely a moment where he thought about blasting him. And then he realizes that you're not turning on him, nothing happened, and then you had it, and they don't seem to think it's weird. So he's accepting this for now. As anybody else wants to do anything, or we're good?
Just the armor Magathos. I'm good.
I'm good.
Good. Okay. There's a moment you grab the latch of the thing. You have to pull it up and basically pull it out.
Mhm.
Let everybody know when you're ready, and then it's click rule, and you want to react to Alex. So
Everybody
you tell
ready?
me.
Ready.
All right. And we're going. Doors open.
Run.
Oh.
Run.
Run in.
Click
Run,
rule.
run,
You gotta
run.
say it first. Run, run,
Say.
run.
Run in.
One-
Say words.
You're running in.
And then once he's last, door shut.
Okay. As you open the door, there's a, and you can feel like the vapor lock of this thing like change, and there's a, and it starts to move. Its head first as his body
Torch
sort
is
of
forward.
follows.
Yeah.
Torch. Okay. And as you do, okay. As you do, it sort of like dodges around your radius, and then she walks in with a torch, then he walks in with a torch, and it starts to back up away from the torches as you hold it, and you close it behind them. You're in here. I need initiative from the three of you, and then you can just work at the end of the round.
Okay.
If you want to do anything. Okay.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if you wanted me to roll just in case I went in. That's fine.
Just the end of the round for you. Okay. 25 to 20? Okay. 20 to 15?
18.
17.
I rolled a 2, so you know
Okay.
that's why I'm last.
On the bright side, if we were playing golf, that would be like a really good score.
True.
First up is it, as it, and it moves around as it tries to find a path in between all of you. And it is going to, sure, let's try that. Oops. Okay. Okay, so first up, this thing moves in an uneasy pattern as it, and it moves in your direction, trying to keep a distance, but it needs to get through you as the door shut, and it's going to use its regurgitated fetter sac to make a melee weapon attack at you. As
You have one of
I can't wait
those.
till I can
as
do
you
that.
see as you see the inside of it become the outside as it
Oh,
it regurgitates this like its stomach backwards, and it tries to suck and latch onto you. Yeah. Does a 13 hit you?
It does not.
A 13 does not hit you as you manage to dodge out of the way as it and there's like glops of stuff, and it sucks it back in and moves backwards, back towards the wall, like a cornered animal. You all sort of move and approach. Isabella, you're up first. You have the torch, and you're able to like sort of keep it in a space if you all coordinate together.
I'm gonna try something actually.
Okay. Ink is on deck, then
Okay,
Soren,
it's
then
in my
Isaac.
spell book. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
I would like to cast Cause Fear.
Okay. And what is
So,
the wisdom saving throw?
That is a wisdom save.
Okay. A wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
It gets 12. What's your DC?
That is a failure.
Okay.
So,
So what happened?
I'm going to sort of look at it and using the fire as well to incorporate into this. Have Mistress kind of make a more primal, roary scare face at it, like a
Okay.
like a
Primal
like
apex
a
predator.
like an apex predator move, like we're asserting dominance.
Oh, you definitely sound very dominant. You sound like you know exactly what you're doing here.
Asserting goo dominance. That's what we're doing.
a
This is
foreign
goo
concept
dominance.
to Sarah, but Mistress knows exactly what to do and succeeds as there's just like this, just like,
Yeah, like that.
and it is afeared of you.
And it is afeared of me until it can repeat a saving throw at the end of each of its turns.
Okay, so if it attacks you at a disadvantage and if it uses a movement, it can't move toward you.
Frightened. It has disadvantage in all ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within line of sight.
Okay.
And it can't willingly move closer to the source of its fear.
Okay, so it's basically trapped in this corner, afeared of you right
Yes.
now. As you. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
All right, good job. As you keep it pushed back, Ink. What would you like to do? Would you like to try to fire a gun in this small space?
Is there anyone within 5 feet of it currently?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I didn't assume so. I just wanted to check.
Mm-mm. I was trying to think.
How far away from it am I?
Like 10, 15.
10? Okay, for now I'm just gonna try and whip it.
Okay, so you take the whip out and you...
I shield my face.
My brother.
No, that's fine. That's a 14.
14 will hit.
Okay. I'm 10 feet away. What is the special thing on
You get
that?
an additional damage equal to your proficiency bonus.
Gotcha. Extra 2. 9 slashing damage.
As you slash into it, its form breaks across its abdomen and chest where you slash down, including the shirt, and then it goes back. It took that damage, but this is not flesh and bone. It seems to have some sort of resistance against that. So,
Is there
it
anything-
takes 4.
Is it just the meat hanging up that you mentioned in here, or is there anything
No,
else?
there's
boxes
two
or-
deer carcasses that headless and organless that are just frozen on hooks, and then there's a whole shelf. If you were to walk into the left side, filled with like a metal shelf filled with all sorts of stuff that you would freeze, stuff in boxes and other shit. That's pretty much all that's in here. It's not like a wide open space.
Okay.
And, part of the ceiling is sort of like, it's gone through some repairs, but whatever enchantment's keeping it cold in here is working very well. It's quite chilly in here.
Okay. I'm
Certainly
just,
not long enough to hurt anybody, but
doesn't seem like there's anything I could like cover or hide behind, so I'm just gonna kind of keep my distance.
the
and
other
then-
people in here,
Yeah.
you could. I mean, you'd be able to see like your thigh down if you hid behind a carcass. You could try to jump up into the frozen deer carcass.
It's very Luke Skywalker.
It's
Hawk.
very Revenant.
It's the size of a deer, and
Yeah.
you're a person, so you'd have to and
Oh,
like
I understand.
crawl up into it. You could try.
I'd rather not.
Okay.
I'll just try and keep my distance
You don't
from
want
it.
to loaf in the carcass of a
Okay, you
dead
can
deer?
basically get to the opposite side of the room, which is 15 feet. So
I'll try and idle at 15 feet when
okay,
possible.
yeah. All right, so Soren, you're up.
Okay. I am going to do a mind sliver to it.
Okay.
So it makes an intelligence saving throw.
All right. It gets a 9.
So it is going to take 1 psychic damage.
Okay.
But subtract 1d4 from its next saving throw, which is probably going to be against the cause fear effect.
Sure.
Yeah, it has disadvantage on that.
And then I'm just going to, I guess,
Disadvantage
keep
on
my
ability
torch,
checks, not saving throws. I
keep
think
my
it's
torch out and pointed towards it.
the disadvantage on some saving throws when it sees you.
Ability checks and attack rolls.
Yeah, not
not
saving
saving
throws,
throws. Yeah.
And then what did you say, sorry?
I'm just going to keep my torch pointed out towards it.
Okay, you keep your torch pointed out towards it. It seems afeared still. Isaac, you're seeing what's happening in here. Any suggestions for them to do? Anything? As you had a whole talk about everything, and everybody's using everything else but fire on it, so...
Mm-hmm. Fuck it. I'm gonna open the door.
Uh-huh.
Soren, will you just talk to it?
And you close the door.
Try that.
It is its turn.
It doesn't get to save till end.
Right. It is still scared. It has disadvantage on any attacks it makes while Isabella's in the room, and it's still feared. Okay. So... it's not going to move from this space, but it's going to, because you scared it, still try to attack you, but you see, like, this horrible, like... and it's like... there's this ball of, like, stuff that moves up its throat. You can see it, like, extend, and then it goes... as it
you
shoots...
make very gross hollow.
Yeah.
As it
noises.
shoots out... as it shoots out a... It uses spit bile at you.
Oh, neat.
So a disadvantage. Ooh. 19 with disadvantage.
Sheesh.
Which hits.
Hit.
As you get hit with 4 acid damage as it starts to cover you, and you need to make a concentration saving throw. So Constitution of 10 or higher.
18 on the dice. Baby.
Okay, and then at the end of the turn, it will try to save with a negative d4 to its roll. It might do it. So what's your DC?
13.
Okay. I rolled a 15,
Okay.
like total.
Got a 3, didn't it?
No. I got a 2, so
Oh,
13.
no.
Fuck.
So it succeeds, right? Because
Yeah.
it meets your DC. Okay. That's like, that's good, fuck it. So,
But that's the end of its turn.
So, at the end of its turn, it's no longer feared of you because it hits you with its acid. It's not a concentration spell, is it?
It is.
It
Cause
is.
fear? Yeah.
But now you are no longer concentrating on it because it succeeded.
I believe
Yeah, so. Yeah, as you
Yeah, because it just means...
you get covered with this bile, and you sort of like wick it away, and Mistress specifically doesn't like it very much as you take this damage, but she specifically on her mage armor like wicks it away, and the piece goes clear of it, and then eventually it goes away, and she recovers that spot. But it hurt you. It's learning. It doesn't have to be afraid of you right now. And it tries to move. Or you can see it's trying to move. It turns over though. So, top of the round, or not top of the round, second is Isabella, then Ink, then Soren, then Isaac.
I'm going to stab it with the torch.
Okay.
I'm just going to thrust the torch into
Go ahead
its
and roll an
form.
attack with an improvised weapon. So it is strength based.
Oh boy.
You don't have proficiency.
I think it's a negative. 9.
9 is you. You don't hit it, but it definitely like and doesn't like the. It doesn't like the flame, but you don't hurt it.
Okay.
It seems to have had some effect on where it would want to head. It doesn't seem to be trying to move in your direction. So that's your action.
Yeah, I'm just going to hold my place with the torch.
Okay. It is Ink's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna, seeing her do that and seeing how much it doesn't like that, and be like, oh yeah, we had these for a reason. Walk up to it and similarly try to.
Okay, go and rolls.
You said it's strength based?
Yep, improvised weapon attack with strength. So no proficiency unless you get like bar brawl or whatever it's called.
14.
14?
Yes.
That'll
Okay.
hit.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll me 1d4 fire damage. +1.
+1 to this?
Uh-huh.
3.
3. Okay, is it? And you manage to just stick it basically in its chest and it goes like this, and you see flames start to lick. It's like flammable,
Oh.
and it takes 6 damage.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe get some
It does
bullets that
not.
light on fire.
It does not like that at all, as it's just like scratching at itself, and like you see its weird form, like you see its chest like spread out, trying to get away from its center mass, but it can't because it is the center, and it scrambles and it changes, and its jaw like unhinges, but without the pop of bone. It just screams, and then sort of like comes together as it wipes that away. But it is not happy with that, nor is it. You see now this it transitions from this black charred like tomato sauce, or a pizza without cheese and then tomato sauce on it that's just been burnt, like this red sort of burn char, and then it slowly fades into the rest of the shirt, like there's no flesh. Anything else you want to do with your action or bonus action? Or use your action.
Just disengage bonus action and back up.
Okay, standard fare. And then Soren.
Well, it's screaming. I want to just try and listen to see if there's like
Talking to
anything
myself.
intelligible in that. If I can learn anything from that.
Its screams aren't words.
Okay. Then I guess I'm just going to also take the torch to it.
Okay. As you do that, same rules.
12.
12 misses as you. Anything else?
No, I'm gonna stay put.
Okay. Last up, Isaac.
I'm good.
As you just sit there and watch. Top of the round. It is the hollow person. It's no longer feared. It just got struck by you and approached with the fire for all. It's going to try to see if it can get away. It is able to move to the side where Ink is, trying to stay on the wall, and very quickly it moves over, and it's going to try to make a regurgitated fetter sack attack at you with a 14 to hit.
Glancing blow.
Glancing blow. Good enough. As you take half damage, so 3 bludgeoning damage plus 1 psychic damage, as you feel your mind racked with this strange sensation, this tingle, this almost burn, as it regurgitates itself onto you and like near, and you can feel like part of it crawling up the side. It's going to use its reaction to cause you to make a charisma saving throw.
The thing.
The thing!
Dang.
17.
17. You take 4 psychic damage, which is half. So you take 4 psychic damage, and you feel it trying to penetrate your mind as it uses memory glutton. And you see part of that burn.
Penetration.
Asshole. Here's this before I forget, by the way. This is the chain of locking that we gave back
Oh,
to.
yeah. Is this permanent? It is. Okay. And that is its turn. So, next person up, Isabella. You see this happen. It's now in the corner, the front corner nearest the door. And Ink has been hit by this. What do you want to do?
Gonna walk over right up to it and going to, like, sort of trying to cut it off from the door.
Okay.
And gonna stab at it again with the torch.
Okay, make another attack. You-
That's cocked, so I can't tell if it's an 8 or a 10. So I'm gonna reroll. There we go. Wait. Oh wait, it's minus, so 12.
12 misses. Again, as you try desperately to hit it with this torch. This doesn't seem like the best way to employ flame. A random plank with a t-shirt on it and some fire.
Yeah, but we can't make
not
fire
made-
any other way.
Not made for such a thing. However, it's what you got, and it's tough.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to stay in front of the door.
Okay. Ink, you're up. It just hit you. And there's this terrible... What?
Thinking.
Okay.
Maybe I have a machination of something that happened in the last session to now, and I think I just made the connection.
Okay.
I'm gonna swipe the torch at it.
Okay.
Fuck.
That one.
Yep.
Roll to confirm. 17 or higher. Uh-oh. No, 18 or higher.
It's cocked.
Just
It's
roll
right
it.
between 17 and 7. 19!
It is a
Wow.
normal miss.
Wow.
There you go. That's a normal miss. That's all that happens.
Okay.
You just swing wide. You feel it. You feel it almost slip out of your hands, but you maintain the grasp, and you.
Good.
Alright, disengage and trying to move 15 feet away to the other side of the thing.
So
again.
now you're at the back of the freezer.
Yeah!
Okay. As you go, ah! And back up. Soren, you're up.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm just gonna take another swing with the torch.
Okay.
16?
16. There was no proficiency, right?
Yeah.
That'll hit.
Kill it.
It's a D4?
D6.
D6.
Wait, D4. Sorry.
D4.
D4 here.
2 plus 1, right?
2 plus 1, 3. You do 6 more fire damage as it again has another black spot on it, kind of on the back shoulder as you hit it. And it goes. Okay. Damn. Quite a bit of damage there for it. And it doesn't like that. Anything else you want to do? You just see them whacking this with sticks.
No, I don't have anything else.
Do you have anything else you want to do? Anything you want to make sure that happens, or do you want to get in there? Do you want to?
Yeah, I was gonna motion over Gerald this turn in.
Okay, so Gerald is at the back, and he moves 15 feet up to you to the door.
Gonna be going in now.
He goes, "Okay."
Can you shut the door behind me, please?
Yeah. Okay, so you get in easy enough as you shut the door behind you. So that's 5 feet of movement.
Okay.
So you can get up to it right now if you want.
I would like to just stand in front of the door with my torch. That's all.
That's where
Just-
I am.
Or I guess.
So right next to Isabella.
Yeah, I'm just holding my action.
Okay, and if it comes to you, you're gonna hit it with the torch.
Just
Okay.
swipe towards it. You had to try and push it back.
Okay. It is its turn again. That doesn't recharge memory glutton. It is going to lash out at the person who just heard it, Soren, and it is going to, try to use its regurgitated fetter sack on you. As it goes to attack you. And there's this something in its eyes. It's like almost an emotion as it attacks you. Like you betrayed it. It rolls a natural 19. And you take 6 bludgeoning damage plus 2 psychic damage as it regurgitates its stomach onto you and hits hard and then charges you with this psychic force. It does not, though, have access to its memory glutton.
Great.
So it will not try to take your memories, but
It will take 5 cold damage.
yeah, I was gonna say you have Armor of Agathis. So as that happens, the cold damage travels up the point that it made contact with you, and you can see like it starts crackling through, and your I was gonna call it medallion, your talisman glows a little bit, and this thing shatters. It goes and it starts to break apart as if the talisman itself rebuked it, and it falls. Its legs still like it shatters from the top down to like basically the bottom of the rib cage as like one of its arms is attached to the other, almost like the Terminator 2, and then it falls. Its legs there, and there's a moment of quiet, and then you hear from inside the ribcage, the belly of this thing, and this red goo with bubbles and other fleshy bits inside of it, like a nucleus or something else, crawls out of it and stands up outside of the body. Not like full height, like a small creature, like 2-3 feet. And it, like a slug, tries to crawl across the ground.
What the fuck?
And it now goes... The fetter spawn now goes on this initiative.
Fetter spawn.
The fetter spawn
Gross.
from the inside of this thing lashes out yet again to the person nearest, the one that just heard it trying to get away, and it's going to reach out its pseudopod at you. Oh god. And it misses completely trying to reach out as it gets stuck, like its wet form gets stuck like a tongue to a pole.
I love
It gets
this.
stuck to the floor with a natural 1, and its movement is 0 for the moment. Isabella, you're up. By the way, all three of you, as this happens and Isabel's about to go, you would, but it smells bad. It smells just bad. Like sickly and old.
Can I say 2 words?
Yeah.
Capture it.
Do you have anything to capture it with?
I did have that jar that the shadow was in, or whatever.
That was
container.
a little. It was a. That was a
Yeah, it was
little
corked.
vial. It wasn't a jar.
Okay.
You do. Go ahead and roll. I mean. Okay. You're in a room with jars,
Oh, I want to grab a jar.
but everything's frozen.
Is there an empty jar anywhere?
In the cellar outside, there's a nice big pickle jar. There's other jars too, but the biggest one is maybe a pickle jar, half filled with pickles and some of the brackish liquor in there.
I run away. I actually, since I'm standing in front of the door.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we can't open it from the inside, huh?
You can open it from the inside.
Oh, okay.
It just can't be. It was locked before.
Oh.
And it has just like this push
Okay.
on
I'm
it.
gonna run out really quick.
So
Close
you
the door.
push it, and a little thing pushes up the latch on the outside, and you're able to move forward. And Gerald looks at you for a second as you push past. He goes, "What?" And
And I grab
before
the
he even
pickle
does
jar.
that, you grab the big pickle jar. It's filled with pickles.
I'm gonna dump it out.
So for with your action, you can
Yep, I'm gonna unscrew it and dump them on the ground.
unscrew it. You don't. He goes, "What the fuck?" As you run in and shut the door behind you again. And then you have a pickle jar. Ink is across the room. Soren is in front of it, and Isaac is right next to you. What do you want to do with it? You used your action.
Can I hand it off to someone? Who's the closest person to me?
Isaac's closest. Ink is across in the back of the freezer.
Okay, and then Soren
And then
is...
Soren's right in front of the fetter sack thing next to the body. As it attacked him, and then the you saw the energy, this cold sort of like shattering as it and then
How
fell.
far away is Soren? Like, distance?
He's about 10 feet away from you. You can hand it to Soren, you can hand it to Isaac, or you
I want to
can
hand it
run
off
back
to
to Ink.
Soren.
Okay, so you go up to Soren and hand him the pickle jar after you say capture it.
All right, well, works.
You okay? So that's the end of your turn. Unless you want to, I guess you used your free. I'll say it's a bonus action. Also hand it to him then. It's sort of like a potion, like drinking your own potion. Okay. Great. So you do that. Ink, it's your turn, and you see this thing. You see the pickle jar. You know the plan. What do you want to do? Just stay back, away from it.
I'm just gonna stay here and watch this happen.
Okay, as you sort of. Soren, you have a pickle jar.
Yeah. No.
Armed with your trusty pickle jar. What would you like to do to the fetter spawn?
I'm gonna take a deep breath and then raw dog the gloop and just kind of
We're
pick it up and shove it
dogging
in.
the glue.
Okay. Raw dog and gloop on your bingo cards.
Yeah.
Nice shout out. Give me a little of that. There we go. Okay, so I'll say this is essentially a grapple check. So go ahead and make an athletics check against its acrobatics. Definitely, it's acrobatics.
15.
I guess we'll see. It has a +3.
Uh-oh.
9.
12?
12. As you
Got it.
Hell yeah.
close it up, and it around the inside of the pickle jar. You yet again have a goo in a jar.
Goo in jars.
Somehow we just keep fucking coming across goose and jars.
Goo
Fucking weird,
in
man.
jars.
I don't know. This is not the constant I expected.
Goo gang, goo gang.
As Goo Gang yet again goos.
Why is
So
there so much goo?
Is this campaign 2 just like your Ghostbusters?
Campaign
Campaign
goo.
goo.
Campaign goo.
Campaign 2, electric googaloo.
Goo goo goo. Electric goo goo goo. Okay, so put this back.
Fucking.
Goo crew.
The Goo Crew.
Is that
There's
our
your
party
team
name?
name. There we go. Please don't be Goo Crew. I don't think the business is gonna go very well.
Whatever. Goo Crew hoodies would sell like you wouldn't
The
believe.
Goo Crew.
Maybe we make Christmas Age Goo Crew merch.
Okay, so you have the free will to choose a cool name. Okay, so
If I only-
if I protest too hard, you'll pick Goo Crew.
He will be
That's
so mad, and it's already making me want to pick it.
If
what I'm
we
saying.
if we
hoping
only
that-
use our free will to make good decisions, do we even have
No.
free will? In fact, choosing Goo Crew would be the greatest act of human
That is
agency
actually true. Yeah.
ever
That is
achieved.
the freest of will.
So you're saying if we don't name ourselves Goo Crew, Jesus
It's-
died for nothing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. Whatever you guys decide on, I don't care. So you stand there, pickle jar filled with goo. About this fills most of the jar.
Funniest shit I've ever seen.
I should have
Pickle goo!
I should have named Gerald Rick.
That's his middle
Oversight.
name.
That would
That's
have
his
been
middle
our second
name.
Rick and Morty reference in the
Oversight.
campaign.
Sorry, I don't have enough fucking brain cancer to just.
You did it in the first campaign. You get a pass.
Pickle Rick came out in the first campaign. That's how long ago that was.
Well, you did it like towards the end, if I remember right.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. Let's do that.
Did she get down here?
How does
At the end of
She
every
turns
episode.
into a goo and
She
gets through the
gooed.
door.
She-
That's what it
good.
is. She
Yep.
can get through 1-inch spaces without. We
Yeah,
have to put a
she
hermetic
is the
seal
goo.
on.
She's the real big bad.
That's fucking funny. So
Well, you're going.
you have a pickle jar of goo, and Gerald tries to look, and he just sees the two of you standing in front of the door. Two of you, and he goes,
Everything's
What?
all right now.
What happened?
I'm gonna open the door up.
You open the door up, and it's quiet now,
It's in the jar.
and you have a jar and half a body still frozen.
Probably.
But as you look at it, it's quickly not freezing. It's like it wasn't the freezer that froze it, it was your magical effect.
Mhm.
And that effect is slowly going away, and the tension on the skin that kept it plump and open and whatever maybe bones were in there is starting to go away, and you see like the legs are starting to like go from this to like and it's starting to spread out onto the floor of
Melting.
this as it melts for a moment, and then it gets to the point of congealed, and then it starts to freeze onto the floor in like a puddle of a person.
You might want to fix that.
I might want to fix that.
It is your freezer. I don't know how you'd like to take care of it, so I'm just gonna hands off that one. I do have some goo to study. Just take the pickle jar and walk out of the freezer.
Oh, wait.
Grab a ground pickle as I.
Okay.
What are you going
You
to
do
say?
grab a ground pickle.
I'm just gonna follow you because
and tactically you decide. Well, you don't have to decide this, but the most central pickles will be the ones where the brine wiped away most of the dirt from the floor, so you get the least ground, or the ones on the outside have the most ground. So I mean, like
I'll
just
take the least ground pickles.
okay, you have the least groundy
perhaps
ground pickle.
We should stay in the cellar and
a pretty good
not
pickle.
go where others
I
could
agree.
see.
I'm gonna find the nearest bench and just move stuff.
Okay.
She's setting up shop now.
I mean, it's basically it's got like a little spot where it looks like he cans things down here. And you sort of move the canning rig aside, and there's like this thing with this crank on it, probably where he makes bullets. And you set that aside, and you have the pickle jar right there. There's a small stool that you can pull out. There's a lantern, and you just, without even asking, make yourself a little spot.
Gerald, do you have any ice?
Well, yeah.
Do you want to bring me a decent
Don't got a
amount?
freezer for no ice.
Fair enough.
How much you want?
Like a pot worth. It'll fit the pickle jar.
One of you, there's a pot upstairs around the hearth. If you grab that.
I will go get that.
Okay. Go upstairs, and near his hearth, there's one that is used regularly. There's another one on the mantle that isn't used very often, smaller. And he's living that bachelor life, so you pull it off. There's a little dust in it, and you sort of and walk out with it, and it's decent size, like a quart. And you head downstairs, and he fills it with ice and gives it to you. Is there anything either of you want to do while you're in here?
Did Jared leave the room?
Gerald didn't leave.
Okay. Then
He's standing there and just sort of like looking at the thing inside the jar.
Well,
I guess we should try and figure out how we can remove it from the others.
don't need to. And I'm gonna like dig out a spot and just kind of like try to fit it in that like a little section in the ice.
Fit what in the section of the ice?
Pickle jar.
Oh, the pickle jar is way bigger than the pot.
I wanted something that was big enough to fit.
Oh, okay.
That's-
Well, he
yeah.
can. A pot?
Because I want to like essentially put it on ice, like you would.
Or a bucket or something.
Or if can we just go back in there and submerge it in the ice? Does he
You
have
put
enough
it in
ice
the
for you to do
freezer.
that?
But I don't want it to be.
Or-
in.
Yeah, he has.
I see.
He makes ice out of molds just like anybody else, but he doesn't have like a huge bucket of ice. Like it's not like a with a scoop or
Yeah,
anything.
I just wanted to see if I could just like.
Chill it.
Yeah, essentially chill it.
I mean, I'll say that there's enough down here that you can like get more of like a tray and put ice on the bottom of it and
Okay,
sort of
yeah,
like
that
build it
works.
up as much.
I just want to see how it reacts to like getting cold over time.
Okay.
Like that.
I mean, it's been standing in the freezer for a day.
Right,
Seems
but
fine.
for some reason when it. I'm just
You roll a
curious.
natural one on its attack and just got stuck because it was warm from the inside of the body. So.
I was more about the medallion thing.
Oh, the medallion.
Yeah, I wanted to see if it reacted to like just
It doesn't seem like it had an extra effect.
like straight ice.
It just seems like the magical cold that did that
Okay.
just expired it fast because it's essentially just so it's resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. It's vulnerable to fire, but cold does normal damage.
Okay.
So what happened was basically a kill shot for that part, and then the fetter swan was within it. But cold affects it normally.
That's basically what I was trying
yeah.
to gather. If
But,
cold did anything more.
The type of cold damage that was done from this was much more violent than normal cold is. So
Well, safe to say if we run in with Reverend Gill, that's probably a good idea. See if we can do that again.
Fire
Where you
saber.
head?
running a reverend, you're trying to.
Oh no, absolutely not. Not trying to, but if it happens, it happens. Something we would like to avoid at all costs, of course. It's not. It's
I don't
not.
think the town would like that very much.
I agree.
That's
Just
why I
would
don't
like
want to.
to avoid it. But I know something is going on, and it's going to bother me.
Bothers me too.
Well, if my curiosity is the level it is, I can only imagine what yours is. Being here. Have you seen anything like you saw the last time that has been different?
Like an eye jar?
Yeah.
It's goo jar now.
I didn't know if anything new has popped up.
Well, yeah, the whole damn
Noticed
town's changing.
People. Everyone
I haven't
seems-
spent a lot of time out in the stables. They don't want me there. I've been spending much time. I don't want them to think I'm trying to learn too much.
Small play.
I think that's why I came. I think I wanted to know what I know. I think I wanted to touch my thoughts.
It's certainly possible, yeah.
else we can really experiment on it with. I've done a lot already before. Much has changed. It's
Yeah.
just bigger now.
I would like to. I mean, we could observe it for a while, see how it responds, and
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
perhaps we can secret it back to Ebon Falls with us.
So what do you want to do?
We'll just probably. We have to sleep at the inn tonight because we can't
Mhm.
look suspicious. We have to be there.
Yep.
And maybe we should just leave it here. Leave it in the freezer. That way it doesn't get out accidentally. And I think that's probably the best spot for it, if I'm being honest.
Keep it here.
In the freezer, of course. That way it can't get out.
And then swing back on the way.
If everything goes okay, swing back and grab it on the way so you don't have to worry about it anymore. We'll take care of it.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
Maybe if you can make it a little less obvious.
Okay.
Maybe disguise the jaw or something, I don't know, but
All right. Do you do it, or do you hand it to somebody?
What?
The jar.
hand it to Gerald.
Hand it to Gerald.
Yeah. Staying at his place.
He starts to walk over. And as he does, you feel just a slight abdominal tug in that direction. Like a tug from your midsection, and then he puts it in there and shuts it. You'll feel it persist. It just is noticeable. You imagine if you had been looking, you'd be able to see it.
Alien baby, it's fine.
Mr.
So,
Lazarev, I think you are pregnant.
We'll talk about it back at the end.
So, Gerald walks you out, locks the cellar door. He's already smoked one of his pre-rolls.
Jealous.
Got a lot of pondering to do.
Yeah,
I think we all
we
do.
all do. Right out of my mouth.
I'll be here tomorrow.
You will, yes. We have to meet with the Reverend at some point, but
I think as soon as our business with the Reverend is concluded, we'll
swing back.
Yeah.
If everything goes okay.
Alright. He walks over to the front door. And he turns to all of you. So he puts his shotgun slinging over his back. Mad world. And he shuts the door. And you assume sits by the fire for the rest of the night, smoking, drinking, and pondering. You walk down the gravel path away from Gerald's home and back towards town. Is there anything you want to do on the way, or you just want to be at the gym?
Back to the gym, I think. Make sure the box is up in the room and
Yep, you get back to the gym, you put the box in the room, you close the door behind you.
Okay, my curiosity is satisfied. I want this thing out of me.
do you, what?
You want your strange
Yes,
goo child
We
out
very
of you
much
now.
so, yeah.
can't do that here. There's no way.
No, I wasn't suggesting you do it right away, but
When we get back?
yeah,
Yeah,
You could try
as
to
a point
pull
of
it
fact,
out of
we
your
could
body.
maybe, or
How are we going to pull it out of his body?
You
Pull-
see Mistress's, see the fingers on Mistress sort of like,
I couldn't have had that idea.
and then it comes back in.
We've pulled stuff out of his eyes before.
How dangerous would this be for Soren?
I don't know. It's
I'd have to pull it out through part of him. I'm not really sure how the inside of bodies work either.
How much of your insides do you need?
Most of them
All
would
the
be the
original
best
stuff.
option. Like 99%.
It's pretty dangerous for us.
How much do you think it will take away?
Well, darling, I don't know until I get there, but I'd love to root around in there. You imagine
Not much.
you imagine like a reverse drain disposal going in you. It doesn't seem like a pleasant experience. It could go well.
It's your call. It's not mine.
Maybe we try to find something else first.
Maybe
I'm going to lie. There's not a lot of this in the medical books, so I'm as blind as Mistress will be.
well, perhaps you could do surgery.
You-
Maybe we could work together.
You're a little more disciplined than she is.
Yeah,
You
but that's also not the best for this, I don't think.
there's a when you say you want to get rid of it, there's two voices in your head that are loud and separate. And they both basically say, yes, no. And you feel it inside wriggling at the thought of you no longer wanting to host it. And you also feel that the talisman would almost prefer that it was gone. If prefer is the right word to use, there's an approval or a agreement, but in a discordant way that fights with scarily an equal number of voices.
I'm just gonna go find a place to sit down for a moment.
You look into the room and you all see Soren sort of look at you all, and you can see he's starting to sweat. And he sort of goes to sit down, and you almost don't make it. Your legs sort of like wobble, and you sort of sit down onto the side of the bed.
Is everything all right?
It's just a lot going on with
see
Charles and the.
Are you running a fever?
Sort of tug at his collar, and you see
So, hear me out. I think Mistress is best suited for this. 2 reasons. 1, she's lots more flexible than I am when I am in someone's body. I cannot get into every orifice and space that I need to. It's impossible. She can move around everything. She is goo, just like it would be, so she can follow where it goes, some places I might not be able to. And 2, I don't know anything about it. She's gonna know the most, if anyone, at least how it can react. And honestly, the way you look right now, I don't think we should wait much longer. If you want it out that badly, we should get it out.
Can you knock me out?
What?
A sedative? Anesthesia?
Didn't bring stuff like that with me for this, no. My stuff is triage mostly, or in the moment surgery, not a full operation where I can cut you open.
you
We
could
could get you drunk.
try with what you have to work something out.
It's not going to be great for you if I do it right now. That's all I'm going to say. It's probably going to hurt more than Mistress.
You have your alchemy tools.
Mm-hmm.
You have some access to things. You could make. You could try.
Can you make chloroform?
You could try to make scuffed chloroform. You could. It wouldn't. You know. You could try to make something that if he inhales it or imbibes it, he would be forced into unconsciousness, but you're not 100%. But it's not going to be like,
It's
you don't think you'd kill him. You just think it wouldn't be as successful as if you had access to a surgical lounge. You know what I mean, with all the
It's-
stuff available.
It's not that I'm not confident in being able to do it. It's
Taking this.
I just don't think it's the
Here you go.
best option. If that makes sense. Like, I have no problem cutting you open. Like, if you say so, like, I'm going to do it. But I don't think it's in your best interest to do it the way we have right now.
You contemplate these things. And then you feel a voice or a collection of them. And to call what you experience to be words is strong. It's more like thoughts and fragments, and it's part of what makes it disorienting. You describe it as voices because there's a... But it's hard to get language out of it. It's not a language. It's madness. But there's part of something. The talisman. It's protected you. You got it from a body that was protected. Untouched by the decay of the bottom of the ocean. Died, but protected nonetheless. Burn it out. Let's burn it out. And you feel, if you more fully commit, you could choose to get rid of it. But you will be intractably bound much more deeper than you have been. Or, or the competition within you, the other competing voices, noises, comes from your belly, from the thing that doesn't want to be burned out at all. And you feel a strong compulsion to join the Lord of Nothing, to become part of the church. You're stronger than the others, than these normal villagers. You have something to offer. A pact of slime. If you decide to go one way or the other, it would take some contemplation and some time and being... You'd have to perform a ritual.
Okay, well, perhaps I'll just take the night to think it over.
It's not a bad idea.
And,
We should never make
figure out what to do tomorrow.
medical decisions on an impulse. If that makes sense.
Unless it's urgent.
Oh, of course, but he's alright. He's not dying that I know of.
Looks like shit.
Looks like shit, but he's
To be fair,
kind of always looks like shit.
more like shit. There's an aspect here where he's detoxing. And you're quite aware of this. And you're about to head into the bad part. And you can see he's holding it together. He's been distracted. But as distractions fade away, Soren, you want nothing more than to be in a cold bath right now.
Is there a bathroom in the
There
room?
is, yeah.
I'm
There is
gonna
a
go
there-
into the room and mix up a little knocky out juice.
Okay, so you go over and go ahead and roll me an intelligence check with proficiency, and you can add your thing if you'd like.
Is knocky out juice the medical term?
Yeah, it is now.
It's a good thing you skipped
You said
medical school.
intelligence, right?
12 plus 5 is 17.
With the compounds you have in your normal alchemy kit, you find a concoction that you believe will assist someone in falling asleep.
Okay.
Which makes you raise an eyebrow. There's applications to having that ability.
Of course. There's always applications.
You take notes of the compounds that it takes to do such a thing. And your mind wanders to other concoctions. But you finish it. A quick, we'll call it a tonic, a tincture. And you set it in a little cork and you hand it over, and whenever you'd like to, you can take it and try to help yourself sleep.
Should probably.
I guess it's basically laudanum, right? Isn't that what
Yeah.
that does?
Hmm.
Should help you sleep a little better tonight. I'd drink some water too if I was you.
Yes, she
Bad
sweats
idea.
profusely. So, does anything else happen in this moment?
I'm good.
So you sit at the desk where you prepared this, sort of in the middle of the room, and you are writing notes and thinking about the observations you've taken today with the goo in the jar and the things you made for Soren and the other things.
I'm gonna reach into my bag and pull out the syringe.
And it just sits
kinda
there,
Roll it between the fingers and.
just looking at it. It's definitely deepened in color. Whatever color you choose, what is it?
Don't know yet. It's still.
It's still going through different stages. It's deepening, and right now it's in more of a, we'll say,
It's kind of like a gross greenish.
I was gonna say, yeah, like it's starting to become less translucent. It's starting to
Mhm.
become a little bit more solid. The reactions are holding. It remains stable. As it cures, it's only growing in its potency and potential. You're still not 100% sure. You haven't been able to test it. There's a... Every time you touch it and hold it and look at the glass cylinder, and it's almost the opposite of the feeling that people have about shots. You can't wait to feel the pain of that. But it's not time. Unless it is. It is.
It's not time. It's not time yet. I'm sorry, everybody.
You sit on your bed as you go to the bathroom and run a bath? Or you do
Yeah,
something
if I
else?
can, yeah.
So you go to the bathroom and you start hearing we'll visit you in a second. You shut the door behind you and the water is running onto this claw bath that it's not like a very fine bath or anything. The bathroom is relatively small. There's enough space to place your clothes. Your toes step onto the tile nice and chilled. And the water runs. You don't turn the heat on. The heat sounds terrible. I want hot water. You sit on your bed, or are you somewhere else in the room? What are you doing?
Probably just sitting on the bed, worrying about tomorrow.
Okay. We're up tomorrow, and you have your gun and your whip and your other things and your bullets, and you count them, and you just clean and think, and you have the little orb that sits in like a little depression on the bed, still pointed north. What do you do?
Reading.
You're reading some sort of story in a small book, something you've probably read before. And you see one of Isabella's eyes is blacked over so that Mistress can read as well. There's little, as a goo cat sits near the end of the bed, wanders over to Ink, gets love, wanders over to Isaac, gets love, slides under
Like
the
good
door.
cat at my feet right now.
Notices you aren't shitting and leaves immediately. Like a cat doesn't care. Soren, you have taken your clothes off and settled down into the cold water. Finally refreshed. It is cold. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's better than the heat you're feeling. You take everything off except for the talisman. And you look out the window and you see the laudanum or whatever it is next to you. Do you want to take it now, or are you trying to wait?
Try to wait until after the bath.
Okay. You breathe. This is a bad part. You try to distract yourself by looking at the night sky. Fathomless in its depth. An uncountable number of pinpricks in a fabric of black. Your parents lived part of their life under a different, barren sky. Your brain bends itself into uncomfortable ways, struggling to gain perspective of yourself amongst the impossible vastness before you. You imagine yourself standing on the edge of a sphere, an island of refuge in a sea of nothing, endlessly falling in every direction. Your footing feels weak against the ground, like the world itself could flick you off its back if it decided to. The sky, an endless mouth, the maw that threatens to swallow you whole. Patterns of geometry between fiery spaces. Constellations of entropy and chaos. Against your will, you find yourself drawing lines. Your mind fights to order the madness above it naturally. And in this moment, you come to a realization. There can be no order in this place. You're but a speck of nothing on a rock that is, in the grandeur of creation, also nothing. You're too small to understand the depth of this place, the vastness. The tears on your cheek. No, the coldness of the air interacting with the tears on your cheek is what you feel. And it startles you back to the correct perspective, back on earth, back into the smallness of yourself. And you realize it is not the night sky that you gaze up at, but it is the talisman around your neck which has drawn you in. Its depth is quiet. And you know that in the void, as long as this is with you, you don't feel so small. The voices keep you company. You don't want to be a passenger to this thing, though it offers you to become its host. And you're free to choose to do so. It does not offer you refuge from the voices when you're not in this place host. You'd have to be here more, or expand your understanding of what being here means. Burn it out. And you feel yourself holding the talisman in your mouth. And closing your eyes. Soren, I have to ask, to whom do you bind your future? Is it the passenger within you that you imbibed within the Church of the Lord of Nothing? Or is it the amulet that has offered you slight protection so far, but holds a vastness within it that you cannot fathom?
I am just going to take the amulet in my hand and think the 2 words, burn it.
Take it out of your mouth and into your hand. And you think, burn it. And you just hear, yes. And you feel your hand close around it. The water in the cold pool that you have sat yourself in begins to, much like the boiling pot of your life, bubble and churn with heat. And you all see slowly a vapor drift from under the door and into the room, making the room humid. And you hear, as you notice this, of someone like shaking, and you hear the splashing. And there's a moment where you all snap and you stand up and you rush to the door, just not even thinking, and you try to open it, but when you touch it, we'll say roll initiative.
I mean, it would be me.
I wouldn't.
No,
try.
I mean say initiative.
Okay.
You would try.
21.
Oh, yeah, Ink wins. I got 14.
As you get to it, ink touches it and it burns your hand. And you're not able to get in, and then you just start, you bang. And Soren, you hear none of this. You are draped in the void, in the stars, of vastness as you float, naked, alone, cold but not uncomfortable, nothing but the talisman. But there's a place in this void, deeper and blacker and more empty than the rest, the size of the world in front of you. An endless horizon of nothing, a shape. Something's there in the dark. And in a flash, an orb, a circle. You are in the center of it. You look out to the left and right and you can't see the edges, like an ocean of an eye with a symbol that you see every day on your talisman. And it turns and focuses in not a way that your talisman ever has. It's not static. It's just a part of the design of what you see, these strange lines, these colors. And then you finally breathe in, and the door gets kicked open in towards you, and you see, as you look in at Soren in the tub, the water has been seared away by heat, and on the floor over the side where Soren has apparently regurgitated this better sack, it is burning. Light embers off of the mostly melted small mound, and it almost bubbles as if letting out its last scream as a little and it soaks into the floorboards, and the fire cleanses it, leaving a dingy mark where that is. And Soren is steaming.
Are you alright?
As you
This is a new one for me.
breathe. You are now level 3.
Cool.
Level 3. Level 3.
I'm very tired, but it gave me an option to burn that thing out of me, and I took it.
Well, it's better than me cutting into you and hoping I can do it right.
What gave you an option?
Whatever it is, the voices, the talisman.
Seems to have helped earlier and to get rid of this.
It's kept me safe so far. Yeah.
Probably for the best to pledge yourself to that then. If you had to choose between the two,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
I'm sure that will never come back
it
to.
won't. It will be fine.
Well, if the alternative is turning into one of those things, I'd probably
Yeah, I
choose
think-
just about anything. But
I think Soren with the crazy eldritch thing in his head is better than goo person.
We'll deal with one body occupant at a time.
Yeah.
Go first.
Go first.
And if
Then
that ever becomes an
thing.
issue,
What do we have inside of us? Oh.
you have unsurpassed brilliance, and I have desire for meat in shape of log.
That's a bit less harmful, I think, than goo. Yeah, okay.
Mistress whispers to you. Darling, it was... Your friend has... made a choice out of desperation.
Seems like a survival choice.
We must do what we need to survive. Yes, true. I'm just glad I found you and didn't have to settle.
It's awfully kind of you.
You say it's kind, but it's just true. We fit. Unlike that squeezing itself into him. He's a troubled man. I don't trust him.
Neither do I.
What do you guys do?
Well, if he's okay, I'm okay.
You feel fewer voices, but the old voices are back to their normal volume.
Better, worse?
It's more familiar, at least.
It's better. Take it.
I think after everything today, I'm just gonna take the laudanum and curl up in the tub and
In the tub.
yeah.
He just takes the laudanum.
Do you want to?
As you're
lick
talking
it?
to him, he just grabs it
Yeah, if you
and
can
takes
find
it
one,
all.
sure.
Just starts to lay down in the tub, still naked.
Rather quick. Blanket, pillows, whatever he
Sure.
needs, and
In the tub, dealing with whatever the leftovers of.
what kind of floor is it?
The floor in here is tile.
Tile.
But it only around the tub. It's wood after that. They couldn't afford like
Okay.
tile for the whole thing.
Take a little bit of an empty vial and see if I can.
Scrape some of the burnt up.
Mhm.
Okay, easy enough. You have some burnt fetter sack samples.
Perfect.
Okay.
Think I'm going to turn in for the night.
Hey, is everything okay in there?
Everything's all right, thank you.
We had some complaints.
We'll keep it down. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I ask what's happening?
One of our friends was just having a medical thing, but everything's all right now. It's all right, I promise.
It was a seizure.
Roll persuasion check. Okay, roll persuasion check with advantage.
Using more dice. Oh, it's okay. 13 plus. Well, actually, that didn't change on this sheet, so. Plus. Persuasion, you said?
Uh-huh.
17. Plus 4, so.
Okay. All right. Okay. Turn in for the night.
All right. You have a good night.
Me too.
Thank you.
You hear her footsteps go down. You, do what?
I am going to put the syringe under my pillow
Okay.
tonight, just in case.
I want to watch out the window.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check. Are you doing anything else while you watch out the window? Just for people?
I'm gonna wake up with
Yeah,
1,000
just,
people outside
I mean,
before
not
this.
really like a vigilant thing. It's like a, I'm bored and
fucking
want
reservoir
stimulus
program.
thing.
Sure.
Like staring at a cell phone. Or doom
It's gonna be like
scrolling.
that all over again.
16?
You have Twitter open, do you?
No.
Doom scrolling.
Okay. And then what's Ink doing?
I'm just gonna try and go to bed. She's not gonna have much success probably because of the stress of being here, but she's gonna try.
It's okay, I'll be awake all night.
You lay there.
Yeah, the person with the monster in them who never sleeps is in the room with me all night. That'll make me feel better.
You lay there and you're trying to sleep as Isaac seems to find rest quickly, satisfied and not worried as much as intrigued as Isaac rests. Probably because you don't have anything to work on and
It's like the first time.
yeah, and you're
Get good
exhausted from a
rest.
couple days, so yeah, like so you just pass out. And while you're looking at all the people as they finish up their day, and you know that last time you were here, there was a certain time when everything shuts off, so you're just sort of like waiting, like hoping it happens again. But you're looking at all the other stuff. There's birds. You see a horse in the stables across the way. And then the church to your right, which you can see the steeple of, and you can see Gil's house, and you can see from your window a little bit further to the left down the road a bit, but you know, you're basically just watching the sunset as you look out west. And Ink, as you try to rest, your brain much like mine at night. Doesn't shut up. It. I wouldn't know. Would you consider yourself paranoid? I feel like you're more like vengeful, like or not vengeful.
Vigilant?
Vigilant.
Yes.
More vigilant, as you grew up on the streets. You grew up with threats around you, and you've slept with one eye open your whole life, on and off, but to varying degrees of comfort. But for the most part, you know, if people wake up, they might not hear you, but your eye opens and you look, and you check, and you shut your eyes. And happens all the time in the warehouse. Isaac in the middle of the night makes a bang or something. It's just him pass out. Someone outside, maybe a gunshot far away. But oftentimes, to help yourself sleep, you would read. That's why you had so many books. Mr. Buttons slides back under the door and up into the tub with you. You have studied so much trying to figure out what the fuck this thing is. Never came up in any books. Some travels, talk with the Gloom Broker. If I say that, the stream will shut up. Have led you to some answers. Now that tablet's bothering you.
That sting is always on top.
Yeah, every time.
Every time.
The archaeological pursuits that are like 90% driven by Sky and her death and all the things surrounding it, but 10% of it, and growing all the time, is just your natural, the way you pick it up, the way it comes easy to you. It's not a struggle. You're not the smartest person, but you're certainly not dumb. Roll a history check. Are you proficient in history?
I am not currently. 16?
It's from somewhere old. And it must have been from a culture that saw other old shit. And not just old, but maybe not even history. Before recorded history, before when people just made art of what they saw and believed. With a 16. Pelitoria. Now known as Free Pelitoria. A place of ancient humanity, the place where they say humanoids sprung from on the world. The oldest cultures are known there. Gerald talked about it. And you imagine yourself yet again down in the long way down, subterranean, going through those chambers, going through those dangers, where you felt right at home, had an easy time. You basically helped the rest of these people get through the whole thing. You might as well have been in the guide. You have a knack for this. This is your calling. Ink on skin. You are now level 3 and officially a Dungeoneer Rogue. A custom subclass
Is that going to be released?
that will be released shortly. I'll have to work on the PDF for it, but yes, it will be released. And it is in 1.0 stage. We'll see if playtesting leads to any changes, but I think it's perfectly playable. It is a slightly charisma-based rogue class. I think until you decide, lastly, two things happen. The first thing that happens is as you're staring out and you had that book that you were reading, you think about the story. And would you like to talk about what you see first, or would you like to talk to Mistress about the book?
What I see.
As you look out, you do see, as you expected, all the lights turn off. Just after dark. Not right away, but just after. Ink has long passed out at this point. Your need for sleep is not as high. The others are sleeping, or you think at least they're all sleeping. Maybe Soren lies awake, but you don't think he could have fought the chemicals for long. Your brother's good at this thing. But you see, in the distance, atop the church, the sphere. The glass, empty sphere is no longer empty. There's something inside of it, moving in a way that's slightly familiar to you. There's something about the movement, although it's too dark to really see. Roll a perception check. You can't place it. How long do you sit there and look?
It's bothering me. Everyone's asleep.
Yeah?
Can I go outside?
Are you gonna be sneaky about it, or are you just getting it?
Sneaky.
Try to make a stealth roll.
I mean, we all have dog shit passive perception.
That's a
so
17 on the dice. And I
I'm
have
drugged.
a plus.
We're all sleeping.
What is it?
My passive perception's 11. It's
I mean,
Uh-huh.
she's usually pretty good at it.
20.
Just because she's so on edge.
true.
But with a 20, not even Inksters, tired from the day, as you make your way out and down and outside the gem, across the grass, and there's a storage building near the gem. Get behind. Do you want to walk right up to the church?
I want to walk close enough to where I just want to get a better vantage point to like see maybe where a light is hitting it in a
Okay.
direction maybe.
The moon is out. It's not quite at its most bright, but bright enough to where if you'd have to stand away from the gem and kind of in the middle of the grass to get like the moon behind it to light it up. Is that what you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So you walk out into the middle of the grass, and you turn and you look up. And lit with the moon behind it, almost perfectly like an eclipse that you created yourself. You see red slime And it moves in that familiar way that you can't quite place. Flexing and shifting. Almost like an eye without a pupil. And it's at this point you feel like it's looking directly at you.
I'm gonna wave.
Nothing happened.
And then I'm gonna turn around and walk back to the gym.
Okay. You walk back into the gym. Are you sneaking again?
Yeah.
Inside? Okay, you roll to sneak again.
Fuck. 6.
6 is you. Get in. The door opens, ink. What do you do? Okay, you see sitting in the bed, up, gun traced.
It's just me. Promise.
She closes the door behind her.
Puts it back under the pillow.
You lock it. And what do you do for the rest of the night?
Oh, God. I'm gonna go sit back by the window.
Okay. You sit by the window.
Mistress, did you see it?
Yes.
I think it watches us.
Yes. She's still kind of looking out the window. You can feel her.
But
you can sometimes feel the direction of her gaze or her attention, and she's definitely focused at the window.
only at night, though. It's interesting.
Huh. Why would that be?
Maybe he wanted to keep a wider eye on the town?
Was that one of those jokes?
No.
That wasn't a reference?
No, it wasn't.
But it's an eye. And you said it wanted to be a wider eye.
Yes, like it wants to keep a watchful eye.
See, it did it again.
Literally an eye. Well, no, I mean like
Yes.
literally an eye.
It is an eye.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
I'm not sure I understand jokes quite.
Me either, I'll be honest.
We should figure that out. Might help. I don't think Prey would be as suspecting if we could disarm them with humor.
I don't know if telling a joke will put someone at ease.
Well, I'm saying contextually. I'm going to kill you. As an eye, or whatever jokes do. Anyway, you're going to keep reading. And she sort of back to your eye.
I guess so. Unless anything changes.
Hmm.
Are you enjoying reading with
I'm not
me?
sure.
Do you understand what the words mean?
I do because you do. What other languages do you know?
I think common and I don't remember what the language is for the Tongzu Empire.
Tom.
Tong. I know those two, I believe.
Hmm. I wish I knew my language. Unless my language is your language.
Your language sort of like that goo thing.
I don't know, I
Screech.
couldn't understand it, so I think it's different. Not sure.
You spoke this way before we merged, though.
Well, it may have sounded the same to you, but it wasn't. I certainly didn't understand what it was saying. It was loud. It was,
No, I meant
noisy.
you said words before we
I said
became
words. In what
one.
way?
I think you said, well, you're talking to the other one, the other something like you before you ate it,
Yes.
and I could understand you.
Yes.
So you knew something before you met me?
Yes, but I don't know how it's written.
I guess so.
I don't even know what it is. And she goes, I don't know what I'm saying. I mean, I know what I'm saying. I said this is how I sound, but like, I don't know what. How? Something. I don't know enough. It's like how I know how to talk to you now.
It's just.
Is this even my voice? Must be.
Is it natural?
Feels natural. Nowhere better than home.
I got very intense.
Thought it was always well timed.
Now you just gotta start imposing random twists.
Shocking things.
Shocking twist!
Just take
The
what
eye
M. Night
looks at you.
Shyamalan does and do the opposite.
It was Adrian Brody all
Oh
along.
God.
It's a reference that only 3 people have seen The Village, right?
See, I'd forgotten The Village so thoroughly.
It was
that
Adrian Brody!
I was thinking in my head, like, what happened in The Pianist again? Like,
That's-
they were making
that's-
some kind of...
That's a movie that exists.
That wasn't M. Night Shyamalan, however.
You know how many times I've watched that movie?
The Pianist?
I used to watch that a bunch when I was younger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I liked the movie.
I don't think I've seen The Pianist.
I definitely
It's like
haven't.
3.5 hours.
I'm not surprised you haven't seen a movie. Shake my head. You're like the opposite of Hannah when it comes to that shit.
Mm-hmm. I'm closing in on 1,000 titles in my collection.
I don't know why that matters to you.
In my defense,
It
I think
matters!
2012 was a decade ago, so.
Yeah, it was. So, is there anything else you'd like to do with the night? Or are we ending with some rest?
Keep reading with Mistress.
Okay. What story do you read with Mistress?
This feels like bait.
It is if you want it to be.
The book that she carries is typically like a little book of fairy tales.
Mhm.
And I'm going to flip over to one of my favorites.
And what's the story that the two of you read together
Well,
and share thoughts about with each other at the same time?
All right, I'll read
Which
it.
is interesting because most of you have the two of you have basically the same perspective. You don't usually get the same thing.
yeah.
The only difference is she has a more tactile like feel to it, and you have very slight interpersonal connections that she doesn't understand. These are the two. Otherwise, you're locked in place with each other. So
I'm gonna pull it out and I'll just say it out loud
Yeah.
as if reading in my head, but or I guess I could give a synopsis. So
yeah, basically a synopsis of what you're reading together.
there was a small kingdom once where a young princess snuck out of the castle and made friends with a local girl who was poor. Her family didn't have much, and they were about the same age, looked very similar. And the two girls became friends very quickly, as the princess had never been outside and had no friends.
She hadn't been outside. Why?
Well, I guess
As you keep reading.
as she was a princess, she had duties to attend to, family name to deal with, responsibilities, but she didn't like them very much. So she would often trade places with her friend, who was much poorer but had the freedom to do whatever she wanted.
Oh.
And
What's poor?
it's when you don't have money or titles or status.
I'm poor.
I guess so.
All right. Are you poor?
Well, no, not really.
So you're like the princess, and I'm like the poor girl. I like it.
Well, the poor girl actually quite enjoyed being pampered like a princess and
Yes, I get that.
day-to-day activities and socializing and
Oh,
whatnot.
well.
And the princess very much liked being alone and going out to explore the streets and see things she had never seen before.
Curiosity. Okay.
And then one day they made a vow to never leave each other's side and to be there always. And they snuck out into the woods to an abandoned stone structure that had been there since before the moon crash.
Wow.
And they stood in the center of the circle, cut the palms of their hands, and shook.
What's like
It's
they wiggled,
no, they joined their hands together.
and her hand comes out of your opposite hand. But it doesn't go like this. It's like if it was one that would properly
that
shake
would-
your hand.
Yeah.
And she touches your hand.
And their blood became one.
We don't have blood.
No, I don't. But still, it was, I guess, a sort of magic that bonded them.
Oh.
An old magic.
Well, what happens next? What happens next?
Well, they grew older and older, became young adults, still doing the same routine of swapping places occasionally. But then the princess was told that she had to get married and have children to carry on the family name.
Oh.
And unfortunately, well, they wouldn't be able to swap places if she were to be pregnant. So they ended up running away together one night. The princess went missing, and no one can find her for a few days at least. They were searching all over. They sent out the hunting dogs and knights to look for the lost princess. And a few days later, they found, in the center of that abandoned circle, a girl laying there dead.
Oh.
But they couldn't tell if it was the princess or not because it looked a bit like two people. But not really. And when they grabbed the hands, each of them have a cut on the palm.
Oh. And she gets it. Oh. Is that a joke?
No, I think it was supposed to be a lesson.
What's the lesson?
If you,
We should do a blood pact.
I suppose we could, but we don't have blood.
I could take some of theirs.
I don't think that's how that works.
Okay. Okay. Are you just choking? Just choking out
We're good.
as you. All right. I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a hand. She reaches out for your hand.
I'll hold my hand out.
She interlocks her fingers with yours. I promise to never leave your side.
I promise to never leave your side.
ever seen yourself? The inside of yourself? What remains inside this shell?
No, I've only ever seen the shell of the body before I passed.
It's beautiful in here. More beautiful than any place I've ever been. Normally I would have a craving for such a thing, but I found something within you.
What's that?
Your last morsel. And you feel her crawl up to the center of your chest. There's a carved box. And inside that carved box, I can smell it. It's your heart. And you hear I have written my promise on your heart.
What did you write?
My true name. That no one can know. And with it, broader access. All you must do is accept me.
Well, of course I do.
Isabella, together we will. Eat and be happy. And explore. And find out what's on the insides of things we can only see the outsides of. And we'll go where people don't want us to go. And we'll do things they don't want us to do. And they won't be able to tell us where to go, or what to do, or how to do it. And we'll never again be the property of someone else. We are the property of ourselves, of each other. Darling. I am your bride. And you are now level 3. To which you gain access to several abilities that I'm sure we'll see. And with that, with your syringe still under your pillow, waiting for the right time, we will awake in the morning to discuss business with Reverend Gill. See if that goes good. And we'll see where this tale takes us. Thanks for hanging out. The Pact of the Symbiote is complete. That will be a brand new subclass that we've already let out, but I will make some changes and put out the 2.0 of that.
And we'll have.
and not too long.
Oh, we get to have an artwork with all of them that's updated
Mm-hmm.
as well.
So, next time, we will see what happens. This was good.
Are we doing hit dice on the air?
Let's do hit dice on the air. Everybody, including yourself.
I'm so fucking sad.
Why?
I rolled
I just want to do it.
Do it.
Well, like it's
Just
just
do it.
no.
It'll be fine. We'll get to highlight you a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
7, 29,
Why?
29.
Oh, good thing we omit one.
29 total?
29 total.
You have 29 hit points?
Yeah.
At level 3?
23.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think so, right? Because you got.
Yeah,
I started at 10.
what's your con? 14, right?
Yeah.
So plus 2.
Yeah, I think
so
I rolled
that's
an 8.
6.
I'm level 2.
Yeah, I only
Put
have
me at
like
20.
I have
I
plus
got
0
13,
con,
bro.
so I'm at 23.
13 total hit points?
Well, that was before this one.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. What do you have now? What did you just roll?
I rolled an 8.
4, 6.
And 7. Okay.
So now I got 17. Slapping them up. Tanky as fuck over here.
Okay. So, I'm pretty excited for next time.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Let's see if you guys
Are we
try-
cosplaying again?
You can?
I'm going to.
I
Okay.
am.
Yeah.
It might be the level 3. I can't do it in like
That's
a fucking
true.
hoodie. You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
Like,
Okay.
Cosplay next week too.
Cosplay until Alex levels up.
yep.
Yeah.
Inject yourself, you coward.
Do it.
So,
I will.
we'll be back. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Yeah, next week at 7-ish p.m. Eastern. Okay.
Thursday at
Is it Thursday? Let's just steal that.
Yeah.
All right.
Fuck 'em.
Have a wonderful night.